Woo! Well, what do you say? Let that hit your palate.
It's got a, I don't know if I want to say sharper taste, but like it's sharper without being harsher.
Yeah.
It's definitely smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth and like flavorful. And I remember, so we'll just shout it out. Painted Stave Distillery, gift for me. They're in Delaware in Smyrna, so check them out. But so this one is like a one-off. I think is like one of their like like they're kind of playing around. It's like a small batch thing. So, but like 6-grain bourbon. So it's like all kinds of. There's like some ingredients here, like yellow corn.
There's some kind of a
bloody
sweetness
butcher.
to it in the aftertaste.
Yeah, and like and so I had tried it with Dave, and I was like, no, this is really good. And I was like, you have to try monkey shoulder. And he goes, what? A monkey who? And I was like, just you got to try it. And so we tried it right after trying a little bit of this, and I was like, whoa. We were both like, and I was like, I'm actually like, I don't think I like monkey shoulder that much. I was like, this is like, it blows it out of the water. So I'm very interested to see you go through that, and then maybe try a little monkey shoulder.
Oh, right after?
Yeah. Get the comparison. Yeah. So yeah, fun new whiskey. It's been fun, like being, or this is bourbon whiskey to be exact. But yeah, it's been, dude, it's
monkey
been
shoulder's a Scotch?
Scotch blended. Yeah, it's been a fun venture getting into whiskey. And we have Doug to thank, so thanks, Doug. Shout out, Doug, if you're listening. But yeah, it's been like it's cool, dude. Like trying different whiskeys and stuff. Like kind of
and I mean,
nerding out a little bit. It's
even
cool.
like beyond that.
Yeah,
just having a go-to liquor, because I'm not big on beer. If it hasn't been obvious on this podcast, I'm never drinking it.
Yeah,
but just if I walk into a liquor store before like a party or something, it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna grab a whiskey.
Yeah,
I'll figure something out.
Yeah, and you can get lost. You know, it's like there's so much, and same thing with wine. I mean, like luckily with wine, there's only so many types.
Luckily with wine, there's always the good fallback, the Franzia box wine.
Oh, dude, Franzia is where it's at. Shout out Franzia. But I mean, like, you know, like, you kind of figure out, like, you know, you like, you know, a red wine. It's like, okay, well, there's Pinot and there's, you know, Cabernet, which is like, and obviously the sommeliers out there will tell me differently, but like generally speaking, like they're all pretty par for the course. Like it's not like, I would say it would be difficult to tell between reds, but like instead of like like bourbons, like I think that like it's not all bourbon is created equal.
No.
And I feel like, you know, and I'm no whiskey connoisseur either, but or a wine connoisseur, but like you can't tell the difference between like box wine and nice wine, or even Pinot versus Cab. It's very difficult, honestly. I mean, there's definitely some different notes, and I've had a bunch of wines, and like there's different, you know, like taste and like lingering, you know, there's some differences. But like to be able to do a blind taste test and go like that's this, that, it's like no, like they're different, yes, but like I can't tell.
Well, you see,
distinctly.
you have poor person's palate.
First of all, lower your fucking voice.
But no, I mean, I've tried various wines, and
Yeah.
I've liked or disliked them to varying degrees, but I have poor person palate because I couldn't tell you what was what.
Yeah.
But I will say, the company Christmas party, whatever that wine was,
Oh, yeah.
I was not a fan.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, and again, like that's just like, I think that's just like red wine. You know, like red wine is just very dry. You know, so it's
That
one
was
of those
like
things.
extra dry or something.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, like, it's like a red wine, and that's why it's very good with food. And it takes some time to get used to how dry, because like if you're not used to it, you know, you're drinking it, and like, why am I immediately thirsty? What is like my mouth almost?
I mean,
begin
coffee
to
does
hurt.
that to me.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Like especially black coffee. You don't have
Just
any
coffee in general. Like,
creamer.
if I'm thirsty, coffee is not the go-to move.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a definitely like, you know, cream milk that goes a long way, I think, but yeah, it's not a thirst quencher. No one's like, oh God, I'm thirsty. Give me that coffee.
No,
It's
like if I get coffee in the morning from like Wawa, I'm also grabbing like a tea.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I don't know
'cause
about
not
you,
water.
but like I wake up in the morning, I'm like dehydrated. I'm thirsty.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
you went 8 hours without drinking anything.
Right. Time to have some water.
So I can't just wake up and drink coffee.
Yeah.
Or like have breakfast and just coffee. Especially eating something and you're already like dehydrated. I can't do that. Coffee does not quench my thirst.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, obviously, I wake up, have water, you know. But then
you can't do that.
Yeah, I know. Can you tell that I'm harping on this water thing now? I know that you do drink water. I know you do.
I haven't been picking up on any of your hints. Were you hinting something? Yeah. You have something to say, Keith, about my water habits?
Yes, drink more. Nah, you do okay. You do tell me like you're like I have a glass, like I'm in there. Like tea's got water.
Tea's like 99% water. It's water with some leaf essence.
Yeah. Yeah, just like flavored water.
I wonder what the percentage of soda is, like water in soda.
I'm sure it's not dramatic.
I'm sure it's like the majority.
Well, the ingredients list usually kind of like the order that it goes in is like how much of that stuff is in it. So like
carbonated water is the first ingredient, so it's the largest amount.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm drinking water.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right.
Speaking of ingredients, though, I know
I want to redact my statement real quick. I'm very sorry. You probably drink more water than me. Thank you. That's it.
No, but speaking of ingredients, I know this isn't the direction you wanted to go, but the FDA is banning red dye.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I believe by like 2027 or 28, something like that. I think
better.
2027, it's got to be out of all food. But like what I'm concerned about is that, you know, like what happens like in between that time, like let's say you sell Red 40.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can't sell Red 40 anymore. You're like, dude, I make millions off of selling Red 40 and I put it in all kinds of shit. What are you talking about? Like I have like what am I going to do? So like either you shift a direction into like, you know, moving money to, you know, maybe you want to make
yellow
houses and wood. I don't know. But exactly. So that's my point. Is like they started with red and like they're going to go down the line of all these other dyes for sure. And I don't know if all these other like dyes are included in this and they're just like harping on Red 40 because Red 40 is in a lot of things and it is the worst of the dyes.
Yeah, I think it's a priority thing. I think
sure
the various red dyes tend to be
harsher.
Bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like all the dyes have got to be bad. You know what I mean? There's no way.
So does that mean red food coloring?
Yeah, that's it.
Gone?
Yeah, that's Red 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is isn't that insane?
Concentrated in a bottle.
Yeah, isn't that insane? We're like, and like I remember the first time I saw it, like maybe like painting eggs with my mom and
Easter.
Easter. Yeah, and then being like, you can just eat this, and I'm telling you, like I've like put some on a spoon and just ate it. And I'm sure.
Oh, so you have cancer?
Yeah, so it's in me. But for everybody else coming up after 2027, hopefully the horizon's gonna be bright.
Yeah, I'm okay with this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean because like, dude, because honestly, what's crazy is like everybody like the Code Red that you love, the Mountain Dew Code Red. Yeah, like when they remove the red dye from it, and it's like they're like, hey, we're gonna call it like Code Pink. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're still going to drink it. You still enjoy it. It's not the red dye that's making you drink it. It's not because it's red. And you're like, oh, I'm on board. Like, you just like the cherry flavor.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
I'd probably just call it Mountain Dew Cherry.
Yeah. And like, but it might not be cherry looking. Because, like, I mean, dude, what's the Gatorade? There's like a cherry Gatorade. It's like Glacier or something. But it's like, it's white. Mm-hmm. But it's like a cherry flavor. And it's really good. Mm-hmm. But, like, it's not red. Like, what's the big deal? Sells. Mm-hmm. Like... You know, yeah. So hopefully we come off the high horse of like dyes, especially cereals and stuff for kids, you know, or grown adults.
Yeah, I mean, just because I'm like in my 30s now doesn't mean I want cancer chemicals in all my food.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, because like, dude, like it's not what's making the food good. So fuck it, get it out of there. Yeah. Why not? Everybody should be on board with that.
If we could get away from high fructose corn syrup and get back to like regular natural sugar,
dude. So we just bought. It was off the bone ham from Wegmans. And like, what would you think from that? Like
ham.
Yeah.
Is it glazed with something?
It's got corn syrup in it. And I was like, it's like one of the first ingredients. And I was like, why?
Well, it's probably in the glazing if it had that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does, but I mean, it was just like deli ham. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what? Like, yeah,
this meat obelisk.
Yeah. So check this out.
God
so then,
had no part in this meat obelisk. This is, a monument to mankind's hubris.
Yes.
You remember that whole thing?
Yes. Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. So then after I found that out, I was like, we went back to the grocery store, to pick up like more stuff, and I'm going through it all, and I found a honey ham, and I was like, yeah, I bet this one's got high fructose corn syrup in it too. Guess what it doesn't have?
Oh, it's just got honey.
Dude, it was just honey, and it had real sugar, like sugar, honey, and that was it. And I was like, these people have to be out of their fucking minds. Like, what? Nothing. It doesn't even make sense. Like, and like an off the bone ham, and ham, like I could get it if it was like off the bone turkey, and they're like, yeah, we put some high fructose corn syrup in it because like turkey is kind of bland, so like to get people to want it and buy it and keep eating it, like okay, fine, you got me. Ham, dude, ham's like great by itself. Like you can cook a plain ham. And
ham
like,
has a distinct flavor.
Fuck yeah, dude. And it's like it's already salty, like it's like that kind of style. Like who the fuck needs to jazz it up? No need. And so like I thought I like because I didn't look at the ingredients, which like is not like me, but I would have thought that if you're buying the Wegmans off the bone, I was like, yeah, it just came off the bone. Like they didn't fuck with it beforehand. Like yeah, they fucked with it. And it's like this is crazy. So shout out to just going through some of your ingredients every now and again. It's like because that shit just slips in, So
which is why I don't bother. It's in everything.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not. It's not in honey ham. So.
It's not in honey ham.
So go get yourself some honey ham.
When I start making some lunch Sammys.
Yeah, honey ham it up. I went with Black Forest ham. Black Forest ham had even less ingredients, and everyone loves Black Forest ham. That's like a staple. So I was like, yeah, dude. And I had a little sugar in it, but I was like, whatever. Sweet little treat.
Real sugar.
Sweet little treat.
Keith can have a little high fructose corn syrup.
No, but
as a treat.
But just sugar. Like sugar is like I don't think it's necessarily as bad. It's like this like ultra processed stuff that's like no good. Like sugar, we've had sugar for centuries. Am I going too far?
No.
Yeah. So like centuries. So like to think that we can't break that down is preposterous. You know what I mean? And like a little bit of sugar.
Yeah, I don't even think like granulated sugar is a problem. That's
what I'm saying.
Just sugar.
Yeah, it's just sugar. And like obviously like if
supposedly sugar in the raw is like
right.
better for you somehow.
Yeah. Again, like I think it's just like probably a processing thing where like they.
Well, I mean, as far as I can tell, the only thing that sugar in the raw has that regular sugar doesn't is a bit of like molasses.
Oh right. Yeah, because it is like almost brown.
Yeah.
But again, like so, how do they get that out?
I don't know. Maybe they're bleaching it or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but even still. The point is, like I don't think like everything's bad. Like I've said this about food, like in moderation. But then when you get to these like weird, highly processed stuff, that's when it gets tough.
Straight up chemicals,
right? Yeah. But,
although I do love that joke. It was like, yeah, processed food that was engineered.
Oh my god, dude.
Organic. You just found that on the ground and ate it? What the fuck? This was literally engineered by a chemist for the human body.
Yeah. What is science wrong? Was science wrong? The FDA said it's fine. And it's like, well, you know what else? I like my favorite argument is like the FDA tells you to cook a steak to 185 degrees. You can go fuck yourself. like that motherfucker's mooing. You ever had tartare? It's amazing. It's raw meat, raw fish. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, sushi.
Like, yeah,
sushi's okay, but my rare steak isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Although honestly, I do like my steak cooked at least somewhat. I'm a medium rare kind of guy.
Yeah. I've had 2 rare steaks, and it's not enjoyable. Honestly, just difficult to cut. You want some pink. You want the pink.
Yeah, and like if it's rare enough, it starts to get that iron metallic taste, and that's just blood.
Yeah, that's blood. Yeah,
and it's. I mean, knowing myself, the whole like, that's blood is
Skeeves
enough
you?
to kind of skeeve me out.
Yeah,
but I also genuinely just don't enjoy that irony.
Yeah.
Taste.
Yeah, and I don't think that I've ever pointed that out, honestly, because I've had some rare steaks that I push through, because I'm also that guy who won't take it back. Like,
yeah, same.
Yeah. So like I've pushed through out of hunger, and
especially like for undercooks, steak.
Yeah.
Chicken, I'm sending that shit back.
Right.
I don't need jelly chicken.
That's true. Yeah, and I would say like
and pork.
Pork too. Yeah. I would say very rarely do I have a chicken that's fucked up. I think we
that's because people don't ever ask for a rare chicken.
Yeah. That's actually a valid point. Can I have that? Can I have my chicken medium well? And they're like,
yeah, you order chicken tendies, and they're like, oh, how would you like that cooked?
Yeah, that's funny.
Detroit. They're not Detroit. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Rare.
Pittsburgh Rare. What is that? What is Pittsburgh Rare?
Very rare. Just
yeah.
sear the outside.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know where
Interesting.
Detroit came from.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh rare.
Yeah. Pete's. Yeah. So, yeah, food. Check your food. Anyway, we'll segue
Get
off
that red 40 while you can.
Yeah, get it while it's hot. Yeah, so that's the migration between the two times of like now and when they're going to get rid of it. I have a bad feeling that someone's going to come out with a new dye that's just fine. Like, we didn't figure it out the first time. Like now it's good to go. Yeah, so
I just had to make sure that I got that right. Pittsburgh rare. But yeah, that is rare.
That's rare as hell.
That's purple.
Yeah, that looks like a dry aged. It's looking like
Maybe that's blue rare, whatever that means.
blue rare.
But yeah, so yeah, Pittsburgh rare.
Pittsburgh's
a
out
bit
here.
much for me.
Yeah. So, to different topics. So we're going to start out with some cars, and you boys have been pretty busy with the Model A.
We
Can I-
actually
can I-
haven't been.
can
We've
I-
just been, busy planning and putting some pieces in motion. We haven't done much with the car lately.
Yeah. Can I start this off with a small discussion? I
Sure.
feel like you guys have branded the name of the Model A as the A, and I feel like I have to go to bat here. I have to publicly go to bat and say that the A is not a good
First
nickname.
off, that
and
is
like,
not the nickname. That's just a shorthand we're using because it's really short to type whenever we're messaging.
Okay, that's fine, but like you use it in conversation, and like it pierces my ear in a way where I'm just like
A.
it's uncomfortable. Like I think that it's
I can't call
it's
it a
the
hot
Ford.
rod yet.
No, it's the Ford. Like, yeah, we're ready to work on the Ford.
Also, just to bring up some context
Okay,
behind this whole discussion,
right.
that started, or your issue with this started the day we got the thing running for the first time. This car hasn't run in 10 years, and we got it running.
Yeah,
And I send you a video, and I said, hey, the A is running.
yeah, and I went to bat immediately.
And your first gut reaction,
Yeah.
the first reaction to the video and me saying the A is running is, I feel like the A is a bad nickname. You should
Yeah.
call it the Ford. And I don't even think I messaged you back.
No.
But I'm like screaming at my phone like, that's not what is important here.
Yeah, I didn't congratulate you. I wasn't excited for you. I was completely distracted by the fact that you guys are misnaming.
No. We're not going to call it the A. Mike start calling it the hot rod once it's
I feel
put
like
together.
you guys have already slipped. It's slipped into you. You've mentioned it in conversation.
Oh my God.
Before you know it, look, I guarantee you guys are going to be on the start line. I mean, like the A's running.
We've got
good.
too many Fords in the club though. Alden's got his Mustang.
No. But you don't call a Mustang. You don't go like, oh, I'm going to go work on the Ford. It's like, no, it's a Mustang.
There's a Ford F-150, I think.
The F-150.
There's a Ford Galaxy.
There's only a few cars you get to just call
So
it
the Mustang, the F-150, the Galaxy, but not the A?
correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not my fault that they made a terrible name.
I'm going to start calling it the model now.
Well, I think, this is, Tesla.
Just because to me that seems worse.
What is?
Just calling the Ford the model instead of the A or the Ford. Just to spite you, because I think that sounds worse.
I think it's better.
The model.
Yeah. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Now I know you're just delusional.
I won't argue that. Yeah. I mean, look, this is one man's opinion. Now, moving on, you guys have done a lot of work on the Ford. No, so you guys have been busy. So the last time that you were talking about it, I don't think that we even talked about the fact that you did get it running, which is
Yeah, I don't know if we've
so actually
mentioned that.
yeah. So
on
since
the
we've talked about it,
podcast.
you actually have
Yeah,
gotten
'cause
some escalades here.
We have done a lot of work, just not lately because it's
Yeah.
freaking cold outside.
Right.
But since Alden and Drew were back last year, and
Mm-hmm.
since we last talked about it on the podcast, we pulled the heads off, or one head pulled the
Yeah.
head off because two of the exhaust valves were stuck, and a little tapping with a hammer, and they
Yeah.
came loose, and now they're working. New head gasket, obviously, put it back together.
Well, hang on, you're leaving out
Oh yeah,
You guys were pleasantly surprised when you pulled the head off.
Mind you, the head had been off for like a week or two because we had to order parts and
Yeah.
I kept forgetting to order them.
Mm-hmm.
So head was off for a while, but and I also hadn't been to the clubhouse in a while just because I was busy. It was cold.
Yeah.
But I was there. I think we were planning on putting the head back on. Yeah, we were going to put the head back on. And then I realized that our water pump was
seized.
No, it wasn't seized, but the rotor, the blades were like
non-existent.
30% gone.
Yeah.
To rust.
Damn.
And unless we wanted to pull the radiator, we had to put the water pump on the head, then put the head in.
Yeah.
We couldn't take the water pump off because then the fan and all that would hit the radiator. There just wasn't clearance. It had to be done in one. So I saw that. I'm like, we got to get a new water pump. So we held off on putting the head back on. But I hadn't actually gone over and like actually looked at the block because they pulled the head off when I wasn't there.
Yeah. So not enough time was like really spent like hovering around.
No, they got the head off of it and they spent some time cleaning up like the gasket and all that. Yeah. But
then the finer details. Yeah. You're giving yourself the opportunity.
I'm over there and looking at it and just like, oh yeah. So I knew what this would look like, but it's so cool to see it in person. And hey, what is that stamped on the front? Yeah. Right on like the gasket surface, but towards the front of the engine.
Yeah.
Wipe some grease off and shine a flashlight on it. It says 0.060.
Yeah.
I'm like, they bore this thing out?
Yeah.
Is this bored out?
Yeah.
So, we go to one of the pistons and wipe some of the mush off of that, and sure enough, it says plus 0.060 on all four. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
We've been bored out.
Yeah.
She's been bored 60 over.
Yeah. And just like put in perspective, obviously for anybody who's listening to it, like
bigger
what
piston,
that means,
bigger boom, more power.
Yeah. And why that's so amazing is that like how old this thing is, right?
It's 96 years old.
Right. And so that also was, I would say like is a net positive is that someone's already taken it apart.
Yeah.
And like everything's got to be, it's not old.
Yeah.
Like my thought process
is if someone went through the trouble of boring this out and putting overbore pistons and all that, they either redid the bottom end Babbitt bearings, or they were in really good shape.
Yeah. And then explain those bearings as well, because those are, I've not heard of this.
So Babbitt bearings are a really old, outdated way to do a bearing surface on the crankshaft.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have bearings, you want the bearing material to be softer than the metal of the crankshaft and the block, so that the bearings are the thing that wear out. Or if something goes wrong, they're what breaks. Modern bearings are like brass, some sort of brass alloy, and they are metal shells that you put into like the block and into the cap, and the crankshaft sits on it. But these old Babbitt bearings, what you'd have to do is, it's not a little shell that you can just pull out and replace.
Yeah.
You need to put a mold around like the crank journal, and then heat up the Babbitt till it's molten and pour it in.
Yeah.
So you are casting this bearing surface into the journal and into the caps.
Yeah.
And then you take a line borer and you put the caps on and all that, and you run a line borer through it to make sure the hole's like centered and the right size and concentric and all that. It's a process. It's outdated. They don't do that anymore on cars, at least. And as a result, there's very few people around who know how to do it anymore, or who even have the equipment to do it.
Right.
Because you can't just like spread some molten Babbitt on there and call it good. No, like there needs to be an oil groove cast into that and all that.
Yeah.
So you need like the actual cast to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you couldn't just take a piece of cardboard and just like like that's not happening.
No, and you couldn't just like put two chunks of metal there and like pour a bunch of Babbitt in there and go, okay, I'm gonna bore that.
Kind of. Yeah.
You need specialized equipment, and you need the know-how, and it's a very like rare and dying
100%.
Talent.
Yeah.
So, I had like concerns because we want to build this to make some power, and we're talking about a Ford flathead engine. Like, making power is like making 80 horsepower.
Exactly.
That's pushing that thing.
Yeah, but you want it and like you want it to just be like a fun and competitive thing.
Yeah, we want it to be competitive at Trog because the 4-cylinder class is the most like saturated and
Sure.
You know, they always get too many entries, so they're like only the fastest are going to qualify, and then
Yeah.
they're the ones who are going to be in.
Yeah. And then so also I just to kind of tange off the progress, but like what are the upgrades aside from like, I mean, I didn't even know that like the availability would have been there for like
Oh, dude, you
boring.
can buy a new production engine block for these cars still.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And in fact, that company that makes a brand new one makes the head that I would like to buy because it looks like a factory head, but it raises the compression from 4.2 to 1 to 6.5 to 1.
That is ridiculous compression.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's ridiculously low, but ridiculously high for a model head.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And
yeah.
it looks factory. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot tell that this is not a factory Ford
Yeah.
head, but it's
And
got
all this-
6.5 to 1 compression.
But all this is like Trog legal, right?
Not sure about the head, but what they don't know won't hurt them.
Well, I think they do now.
Well, look, that's a one. Like right now, our focus is getting the thing running.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, yeah. So, have you guys actually taken it on a main voyage yet?
No, because
No.
we don't have a fuel system
Oh, that's
hooked up.
right. Yeah.
So we got it running
Uh-huh.
on like brake clean and starting fluid
Beautiful.
because the tank has rust holes.
Yeah.
So, and the other fun part about this is the fuel tank is the dashboard basically.
Yeah.
Because it's gravity fed, so the tank's got to be higher than the carburetor. There's no
Mhm.
fuel pump.
Right.
So if we were to try to put gas in there, it would just drain all over your lap.
Yeah. You don't want that.
No. In fact, we're going to get a rear mount tank and a pump to pump it forward.
Yeah.
And we'll just do it that way. But yeah, so what I was telling you, like you can buy a new production block.
Yeah.
There it is. Brand new.
How much that costs?
Couple grand.
Hit shop now. Shout them out.
$7,800. But it uses modern insert type bearings as well, and
Oh,
they're
cool.
pressurized.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
this
very cool.
block looks factory from the outside.
Yeah.
Like that looks like a OG
Yeah, 100%.
Model A block, but it's got some modern upgrades inside to make it more reliable.
Yeah.
And it comes with a fully balanced crankshaft, which is big because Model A's didn't come with a balanced crankshaft.
Interesting.
There's like no counterweights.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
No counterweights. Can you show me what that would like? So we're talking. That is very interesting that it wouldn't have had counterweights.
they just put a really
Oh, yeah.
big.
Yeah, there you go. Looks like a barbell, or like a fucking like a workout bar.
Yeah, they just put a really big flywheel on it.
Yeah.
And here's a
Okay.
balanced one with
Yeah.
counterweights.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of money, you know, $8,000.
Yeah,
and-
for $8,000 we could build a really, really nice flathead V8
yeah,
and make way more power.
yeah. I mean it's not bad for like when you're talking about what it is, because like you could also buy like a fully assembled Godzilla 7.3 for the same price. I've been thinking about that so much, dude. I love that.
For $10,000 you can get a Coyote crate engine from Walmart.
Dude, I forgot about that too. Bro, that's insane that Walmart will sell you that. Yeah, it's just nuts. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there
Oh,
it
that's
is.
the cylinder head that you want?
That I'd like. It,
Yeah.
It's just it
I mean,
looks like a factory.
$400 is
Yeah, and it's
not-
$400 for a
Damn.
whole cylinder head. I mean, it's a flathead, so it's literally just a shaped piece of metal,
Sure.
but and it 6.5 to 1 compression.
And then there's nothing else you need to do to like valves or anything?
No.
Like it's all
No.
Oh shit.
You just drop that on there.
Okay, cool. Dude, I mean $400 seems like that's a no-brainer. And you guys are already kind of spending some dough, but you know.
Yeah, no.
Obviously this is in the back burner for your brains.
No,
but-
I have a build list in my head for the engine, and
Yeah.
if we get all the parts and we put it together, and like I said, this engine seems to be in really good health. I'm like,
Yeah.
when we got it running, it actually ran really smooth
Good.
off of brake clean.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and not to mention the ignition timing.
Mm-hmm.
I eyeballed that. I didn't have the tools to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to have the advance lever for the ignition set to a certain place.
Okay.
we don't have the linkage that connects the advanced lever to the actual distributor. So I'm like, okay, well, here is fully advanced and here's like fully retard. That moves about that much. If it's like 1-to-1, which it isn't, then maybe about there. And then there's like a tool for you to hold the distributor shaft while moving the rotor before you tighten it down to like get it set to the right spot. And I didn't have that, so I'm like,
looks nice. Allen key.
What
holds it down?
Flathead.
Nice, dude. That's ridiculous. I was like, Allen key. Fuck no.
No, everything on that is a flathead. Everything is a flathead.
It is a flathead.
It is a flathead. It's a flathead or it's bolts, like, hex head bolts. No Phillips.
Yeah.
No, well, there's a couple square nuts as well. But that's it. There's no Torx, no Allens, nothing.
Interesting.
But yeah, I completely eyeballed that, and I think I got it set because we haven't had it kick back once yet.
Wow.
And if they're set right, it should be impossible for them to kick back and break your thumb with the crank handle.
Or your fucking ankle, dude. I saw Alden was like he like hit it, like used his foot, didn't he? Or no, he uses his hands.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you look up any video on how to crank start a car, they always go, you got to hold it with your thumb under the handle, not around the handle, because if it kicks back, it'll break your thumb.
Yeah.
Now, if you have your Model A timed correctly, it should be impossible, because when you have your ignition set to full, retard, and that is the correct term, that is not, a slur or whatever you want to call it, derogatory.
And we're going to stick to the terms, so yeah, you're right.
But if you have your ignition fully retarded, it should send the spark after the piston is already past top dead center, which should make it impossible to kick back. It can only kick forward.
Yeah.
Hasn't kicked back yet, and we're using really volatile, brake clean.
Yeah.
So I think I got it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Nice.
Pure blind luck.
Leave it.
Yeah. Don't fucking touch it.
Don't touch it. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, I do think it would be cool. I said it I was like, dude, if you get like a gas can, drill a hole in it, put like a little like barb fitting through it.
Yeah,
little gasket, and just get that thing running. Move
that carburetor's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that engine hasn't run in 10 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like before you buy a gas tank, or just because like, what if there's more stuff you have to do it anyways? And I get it. I know where you're at, but like just out of curiosity, I would want to just like buy a cheap gas can and just like drill a hole in it, put a little, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, my
ratchet
plan was to ratchet
top.
strap the gas can I have in my Buick in there. I don't even need a drill hole. I was just going to put a hose in there and like get a siphon started. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Pain in the ass to get started, but once it's going, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't you just do that with a gas can?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. You have a gas can in your...
Look, man, my fuel gauge didn't work for the longest time.
Oh, so you keep that thing on you. You keep that motherfucker on. I will not look like a fool. I will not be made a fool of. I keep the gas can with me.
Yeah. It was usually empty, though, because
you had to use it.
I remember I made Fluff late to work one time because I ran out of gas like halfway to Westchester, and I'm like, "Hey, can you can you come grab my gas can, take it to Wawa, and bring it back to me?" But it was in the middle of winter. I broke down, like literally just coming into Westchester. I was coming up the hill, and it started. I'm like, "Oh no, I haven't gotten gas in like 3 days. Oh no!" So I just kind of pulled over, and the car doesn't have hazards, so I just popped the hood as like an indicator, like car broken. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And then some lady living on like the house right there kind of walked down. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I ran out of gas. I've got someone coming to get me gas. She's like, oh, well, it's cold out. Do you want some coffee?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
That's so amazing.
I would love some coffee.
Yeah. Bless your heart.
She came back with coffees and cookies.
That's amazing.
She's like, oh, here, hopefully your day gets better. I'm like, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she made your day, but you don't even realize that you made her day.
Oh, yeah, because,
like...
what's it called? Old 62 primered, clapped out Buick in her yard.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, it's a motherly thing, you know? Like, when like, they get an opportunity to, like, help somebody, and also, like, when you get older, like, you have, like, less, like, fun events that happen. And,
oh, yeah, this was exciting.
Yeah, this is exciting. Yeah, and then, like, she got to help, it's beautiful. I love that. I love hearing that. And so back to the topic though, because we almost tanged there.
Oh yeah, we went way out of left field.
But
you were saying you'd rather do hook up a temporary fuel system. to get it running.
Because what about like the rest of the drivetrain? Like, how do you feel about everything else?
It's
Brakes,
probably fine.
Probably.
Well, the
Okay.
brakes are they're not hydraulic; they're mechanical.
Yeah.
So there are rods that go from the brake pedal to all four
Yeah,
drums,
but I mean,
and
okay,
they
and
work fine.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, that's what I was. Yeah.
The rear end, I have no idea if it makes any noise. The transmission, I mean, when
It
it's
moves.
when it's not sitting, or when it's just sitting there, I can put it into gears, and sometimes it doesn't. And I hit the clutch, and then it does.
Which makes sense.
Seems to be doing transmission things.
That's doing transmission
I mean,
stuff.
the previous owner, he bought the chassis with the engine and drivetrain, and that was running and driving. It didn't have a body. He bought a body separately and grafted it on there.
Yeah.
But he also said that the clutch was like done right before he bought it. So it's got a brand new clutch and flywheel.
Nice. Yeah, dude, you guys got like a really good setup, and like not even knowing that was bored.
Yeah,
like
so I know that the block has to be
what did you say, 60 over?
Yeah, which equates to about 1 cubic inch, which equates to about like
in liters.
Or no, I'm sorry, like
Give
5
me
cubic
liters.
inches, 5 cubic liters. This is America. That gave us like 5 or 6 cubic inches.
No, you don't. I mean, not until like it was like after the 70s we stopped doing like the cubic inch.
Mm-hmm.
Like now it's like it's a 5.7 liter
instead of a 350 or whatever it was.
Yeah. So in my terms, and look, and I respect it. I'm with you on like
it's like a 3.3 liter 4-cylinder.
That's big.
It's big.
That's big as fuck. I feel like you just wanted to guess so you would be right. You just did the math in your head, even though you could just Google it.
A 200 cubic inch 3.3 liter.
Damn you. But now that it's bored over, what happens now?
Well, like I said, it's like 5 cubic inches or so. So it's like a 205 or 206 cubic inch. I don't know what the conversion is for
So maybe it's like
3.4
liter.
maybe.
Yeah.
But that's good for about 1 horsepower by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
At least according to the math. Because it's a 200 cubic inch and it makes 40 horsepower. So what did I do? I did 200
divided
by 206 or something like that to get that ratio. And then I multiplied that by 40, which should raise that number the same like ratio. And it came out to like 1 whole horsepower.
Okay. Well, that's one you didn't have.
So yeah, we went from 40 horsepower to 41.
Yeah.
We're already rocking and rolling.
Yeah. But again, but also it just feels so good to have like what technically is going to be like fresh pistons and everything else.
Fresher than 96 years old.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. So that's cool, man. And like it would have been just a gift. It was a gift that you guys had like a complete engine. It was a gift that it turned over. It was a gift that like it had potential to run.
Yeah.
And like, bro, all the like little fun things you guys are finding along the way, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah. I mean, we've already completely rebuilt the ignition system.
Yeah.
So new distributor and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the plugs looked fine, so we reused those.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, why not? And like, and also that's one of those things where like maybe you change them like before you actually go to race, or like once you get the car like good to go, because it's not something that's like you guys are gonna like put that engine through some stuff. You know what I mean? Just in like the testing. And all that,
I intend to do
plugs.
everything in my power to make this car keep pace with modern traffic, whether it wants to or not.
Yeah,
that's how I drive my Buick.
Yeah,
that's how I drove all my cars.
Yeah, but I just meant like in the way of like just trying to get things started, like fuel issues, fuel pressure, carburetor issues. Like those plugs are gonna get fouled out. Like you're gonna figure it out, and then as soon as you figure it out, change the plugs. Typical. So cool. So we're at a good point. So now you have a rusty frame. You guys have not a rusty. Excuse me.
This is Ford vanadium steel.
Yeah,
okay, this stuff lasts forever.
You have an unprotected frame.
Yeah.
That you guys plan on to
keeping
it in good shape.
Me and Alden had talked about it, and like as far as just strictly the aesthetic goes, we kind of wanted to keep the rusty body, the patina.
Yeah, agreed.
And the bullet holes.
Yeah, that's nuts too. I wish you had pictures of that.
I don't know if I have any pictures up close of the bullet holes. But we also learned recently that one of the panels has been peppered by birdshot. There's no holes, but it's covered in like tiny dents.
Oh shit! So, are you sure it's not like a BB gun? I bet you're sitting in somebody's backyard.
It's a spread about this big.
All right, so somebody Somebody nicked it.
Yeah, that thing was used as target practice on Papa's farm.
Yeah, that sucks.
No.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but
It's
it
part
sucks.
of the car's story.
Yeah, for sure. But also, it sucks in the sense of like, dude, who was shooting that thing? Come on.
Yeah.
Model fucking A.
Yeah. But you got to understand, like, at
No, I
one
get it.
point, it was
No,
like...
if I was 6, I'm like, dude,
Yeah, imagine, like, your grandpa had a Ford Escort rotting away on his farm.
yeah, it's like, shoot that thing.
Shoot that.
Yeah. Papa comes out like, the goddamn Cosworth.
You're like, oh.
But yeah, so now there's new plans for
Yeah, so
some more metal.
with our original plan, like, was like, we're going to leave it looking kind of ratty.
Yeah.
It's not a rat rod.
Yeah.
There's a distinction.
Yeah.
But we're gonna leave it looking a little ratty. But I wanted at least like the frame to be black and like clean.
Yeah.
So it looks kind of like shitty, but it's got a nice engine, nice frame.
Yeah.
The running gears.
Yeah, the atypical resto mod vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So Alden's got a buddy who does like fabrication and rust repair, and welding and all that stuff. So we wanted to reach out to somebody to better secure the body to the frame, because as it is right now, it's held together with like baling wire and
a
some
couple of
questionable
drywall screws.
Yeah, some questionable welds
zip
and
screws.
some literal like wood screws.
Yeah.
Also, the body is missing all of its wooden frame, which
Yeah.
is what actually gives the body itself rigidity.
Yeah.
There's like 4 whole pieces of wood left, and they are rotted.
Yeah, so how do you go about that? Like, that's not just like buying 2x4s.
Well, because it's a Model A, you can buy a wood kit.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they have options for the 11 billion different body styles they had.
They had that many body styles? I mean, I'm a child to this.
Yeah, so was I.
I think that I have to imagine the people who you may skip forward. I may even start doing chapters. If you made it this far, let me know if you want to do chapters. I'll put a chapter in or 2. It's a lot of work to do chapters. I always forget what we talk about. Like, it's so much work.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Watch it again, the whole podcast again,
Yeah.
basically. I'm not even sure if this is all of them, but and that doesn't include like the trucks.
But like, it seems like there's like maybe it should be that like they all look so similar that like it should be.
Oh,
that
you know what
there's,
this doesn't include?
There should be 4 of them.
This doesn't include the Roadsters or the Phaetons, the convertibles.
Yeah. Yeah, the Roadsters are tough. Which one are you guys?
One of these, probably the standard coupe.
So how would you go about figuring out? You have to order a wood kit, Adrian.
No, we don't.
Oh, so this has all been for nothing. Please enlighten
Well,
me.
I was just explaining the
the wood kit.
the wood kit.
I did cut you off. Go
Because
ahead.
each of these
team.
main body styles require a different wood kit. And then
Sure.
each of these Model A's, because they were made in the late 20s, early 30s, weren't made with like the tightest tolerances, so they're all a little bit different. So fitting is required. And of
Yeah.
course, the wood kits aren't perfect replications of what they had in the factory back in 1928,
I mean,
1930.
they don't make wood like they used to.
No, actually, there's a
Quite literally.
a distinct difference between old wood and new wood.
Yeah.
But
In size, which is what I
not
found
just
out.
size, but like the grain structure.
Sure,
because it
for
was all
sure.
old growth versus
I know,
new
you can
growth.
see like the wood that we have here. It's like, bro.
Even that's not super dense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that
I mean-
particular plank right there actually looks like it came out of an old tree. That's some dense
Yeah.
ringing.
Yeah. Definitely. But I mean, it's a 1960s house.
Yeah, it probably has a good bit of old
Like
growth.
early
Yeah,
1960s.
so that is an old growth plank right next to a new growth plank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
My roof, my
yeah,
floors.
your floors.
So,
But yeah. So we decided that we were just going to talk to Alden's fabrication friend.
Yeah.
About welding like a rudimentary framework just to secure the body of the frame and give it
Yeah.
rigidity that way.
yeah.
Which we're not the only ones who've done.
Yeah. And like that would be like a bolt and nut, something you could just, be able to remove the body if you needed to.
He did. So yeah, let's just fast forward.
Yeah.
A couple days ago, he finally like had time to come out and look at the car, and we kind of discussed our game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking through what he wanted to do and what he thought needed to be done, as well as giving us like some options on what we could do. And yeah, he was talking about like welding plates to the frame that you could that we could use to bolt that like
Yeah.
cage onto, so that it
Right.
would come off with the body if we want to take the body off,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
He also said that he was going to sandblast the chassis and paint it for us, which is great.
Crazy.
And seam seal and bedline the interior of the body panels
Yeah.
so that it's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like that's because like that's that creeping shit where like you go through all this work and you're like, how the fuck is it rusting? You know what I mean? Like there's just those little sneaky things, and so that's good. Good to hear you guys.
We're also floating the idea of chopping the top while we're doing all this, because if we make a cage for it, like if we decide to chop it later, cage has to get chopped.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So take like maybe 3-4 inches off the roof.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing crazy. I don't want like a super chop where like,
Yeah.
I've got this much window, but
Adrian,
just shorten it a little bit.
Listen, 3 or 4 inches would change my fucking life. Okay, don't you dare.
Look, we're talking about over 100% difference right there,
bro. Yeah, we're like, this is good. We a banner year. 3 or 4 inches.
Yeah, if I lost 3 or 4 inches,
Yeah. This is So we're talking a lot.
I'd be in Ted.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, so that would be sick. So, but that's cool, man. And like I feel like dude, all that having a good like base, I think it's awesome. And like hopefully you guys talk about like maybe possibly clear coating the outside of the body just to like kind of just cement in that like beautiful like patina look, it'll be cool. But yeah, man, you guys have a good fucking base. It's actually like amazing how cool of a car you guys ended up with.
And I found a bench seat that looks like it would probably fit the car. It's not a Model A bench seat, but $45.
Yeah, $45. Like it could be, if it doesn't fit, it's a cool couch, right? Like it just added to the
Here's the
clubhouse.
thing. The reason why I think it would fit the Model A is because it's very narrow. Like it's not a wide bench at all, and the Model A is not a wide car.
Yeah.
Also, you remember the seat that's in there. Like
not
it's
great.
a bare frame thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have like anything to mount it on. Like you're sitting on the floor when you sit on that thing.
Yeah.
Cushions or not, you're on the floor.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll use that.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
$45.
we get this $45 bench.
Dude, $45. That's
I just
worth
have
a
to
shot.
drive 2 hours into Jersey to get it.
Yeah. Adventure. Another video.
Another video.
Yeah. Which if you haven't already, like, if no one else has already gotten on the Outrunners Car Club, right? Is that where it's at? Outrunners
Yeah,
Car
the
Club?
Instagram.
Yeah, you guys have...
It's the only video on there now. Alden like archived everything that was on there.
Oh, okay.
Just because we're kind of changing direction
Vibe.
for the page.
Yeah.
He used to do something where like every day he uploaded a car with like a little tidbit about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So then he was like, okay, how about we just upload like memes and shit that we find funny? But everyone kind of sucked at like sending in memes that we'd found. And
Yeah.
the page kind of languished for a bit. So he was like, all right, we're doing content on the shit that we're doing in real life.
Yeah.
So
that makes
kind of
more
fresh
sense.
start
Yeah, good.
kind of thing.
I love that. Can we take a pre-break?
Sure.
Taking a pee. Back from the pee break. So we left off some metal repair.
Yeah,
There's this like restoration. Not even. It's like
It's
just
not restoration. It's just making it so the body doesn't fall off.
Yeah, preventative. Yeah. So
And we're also going to put
metal
seatbelts
brackets
in it because, well, I mean, you've been in my Buick, and you come to rely on those door latches when we're going around a turn.
Yeah.
And we can't rely on these door latches, I don't think
No.
so. Yeah, put like a seatbelt in it just to keep you in the car.
Yeah, a lap belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one like bench sheet that I found has a nice gap between the back and the bottom for us to run lap belts through.
And so now, how legal will this become? Like as far as like street legal?
If we register it as an antique, which I think is the plan, then yeah, it's fine.
So wherever you like to drive it, you can drive it,
Yep.
which is nuts.
Have PA.
Seeing a Model A on the turnpike would be nuts. Just doing like 40.
See, that's the thing. Like, I would love to like put a synchronized 5-speed transmission in there. It's got like overdrive, so you could do the highway. Because 80 horsepower, hell, even 40 horsepower is enough to get you highway speeds. It might take a while, but
Yeah.
you know, I did 70 something in my Beetle.
Yeah.
That has 40 horsepower.
Yeah.
It also had a 4-speed, not a 3-speed. It was also synchronized, so I could shift quickly.
Yeah.
But doing that would no longer make it trog legal, which is kind of like our main goal. Like, we want to run this at trog.
Yeah.
There are other events that we could run it, but I'm sure they have like similar restrictions,
Yeah.
which sucks. I mean, we could get a 2-speed rear end,
Yeah.
And that would be legal because
Yeah.
they were like an optional thing.
Yeah, that
back
just
in the
gives
day,
you some extra speed on like
some extra top end.
speed. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Which it could really use. That third gear is 1-to-1. I don't know what the rear differential like gearing is in a factory Model A, but I'm sure back when this car was new, we didn't have highways.
Right.
Half the roads were
Dirt.
Ruts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they weren't concerned about doing 60, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like back then, weren't they? It was no, it was way before. It was trains. They were worried about trains going too fast, and like if you were pregnant, they were worried that like it would rearrange the baby or something. Like it was like if we do 40 miles an hour,
when we first invented vehicles of any kind. Before that, the fastest a human had ever gone was like, 35, 40 miles an hour on a horse?
A horse, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, if you do 60 miles an hour, the wind will be so strong, it'll suck the breath out of your lungs. You won't be able to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. And it's just insane. Yeah. Now
I cruise with windows down at 75, 80.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Welcome to the modern age.
Yeah, and planes and everything.
Well, I mean, planes are usually enclosed.
Yeah, usually.
Unless you're on a Boeing 737 and the door plug fell off.
So I think we covered it. I think we're up to speed on the Model A, which is sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should be cool. What's the we're still expecting to be at Trog, right? With the car? Is that the
That's
idea?
the goal. They open up registration in February, and that's going to be a little hairy because the car will definitely be nowhere near ready.
Yeah.
Because the second week of February is when it's going in for all the metal work.
Mm. I feel like that's what I was saying, like with the gas tank thing. It would be nice just get it moving and just make sure that like all of the warlocks,
The transmission works,
the gremlins,
the rear
are
end's okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea.
It would be, but I have a personal hang-up about rebuilding a carburetor potentially that I'm not going to use because I plan on getting a new manifold and a new carburetor.
Yeah. How far away are you from doing that?
When's our next paycheck?
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
Because you saw that cylinder head's $400. Everything's like $400.
Yeah. So it's not that much.
A one-time purchase for $400. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Every component being $400. Like every big component. Like I want to put a cam in it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're at $2,000. You're like, oops.
I want to. I want to do the manifold. I want to do a carburetor.
Yeah. But I mean, look. I mean, that. Here's my thing too, and I said this before. Like when you guys first got it, I was like, man, just make sure you guys keep your eye on the prize because like. It happens with every build that anyone ever does. Is it like Chris was talking about this? He's like, I have the head off. I gotta go big bore kit. Like, it's like, but don't get too hung up on like building it and like just get it to that point.
That's what we're sticking with. We know the engine's alive.
But why can't the intake manifold and the carburetor stay? It's the lore. It's the lore of building, right?
It really is.
Yeah,
that's really is.
Yeah. So I would say that like if you're just because imagine like and everybody knows like there's so many things that you guys are going to come up that are going to be hiccups.
That car is missing a lot of pieces, including like a lot of the linkages for like the hand throttle adjuster thing and the ignition. And it's like, okay, well, do we get the linkage for that? Because we were kind of planning eventually on getting a Model B distributor, which has auto advance, where we wouldn't even need that linkage anymore. Do we get the linkage for the hand throttle thing so that we can use it to set the idle when we're starting it up and all that? Because when we get the new manifold and carburetor, it's going from a downdraft or an updraft carburetor where the carburetor is mounted low to literally flipping the other way and being mounted up high. So we need all new linkages anyway.
Yeah, and like, but how important are those things to just get this thing on the beach?
I'll put it to you this way. Again, the 4-cylinder class at Trog is like the most competitive. I didn't see a single updraft carburetor on any of the 4-cylinder cars.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I got you.
So like there is like a minimum threshold where like it's not just it'd be nice to have this like just to build it, make it faster.
Right,
it's like
right.
We need this if we want to compete.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, because yeah, you're right. Because like technically you have the time, but it's like registration time, you won't be ready.
Yeah.
Which is like a discerning feeling.
And
it's one thing if it was like, yeah, we raced last year, but we're gonna do a lot of upgrades, and like this year,
I don't have the free time to be like, these SEMA builds for like, these YouTubers do. It's like we got a week to put together a car for SEMA, and they spend every single day working till 3 a.m. Like,
yeah,
I don't have that kind of time. So if we register and we're not ready by the time October rolls around, it's like I don't have the time to like go into crunch mode.
Yeah, that's true.
Nor do I have the money to like start throwing parts.
That's what I was gonna say, because like, as honestly, it's like it's not even as much time, because it's not like you guys. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but like it's not like it's.
When we were trying to get it running, just to like make sure the engine was in good shape before we went forward on anything, it was okay. Let's see. Let's try to get it running. Okay, that's not working. What's not working? Okay, the ignition system's not working. Let's buy this part. Now we have to wait a week.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We got that. Where has the problem moved down the line?
Right.
Okay, that's not working. We couldn't tell because Spark wasn't even getting to that because of this. Okay.
Yeah, and then true, like, in the engine obviously is like the most complicated part, but it is what I also, back in my mind, I'm just like, I would feel good if it was moving.
Yeah, and I get
I'd feel
that.
good if it was moving.
I mean, my whole thing is like I'm willing to buy the barb fitting to make it so I can hook a fuel hose up to that and put fuel in there. But if that carburetor starts pissing fuel everywhere, I'm like, okay, well, we need a new carburetor. I'm not going to rebuild this.
Now, and I don't want to like change everybody's plans here, but like, is there an argument for maybe it wasn't time to like refurb the shell and the frame? You don't think that
I
like
don't think so.
Getting everything else, directing those funds to like getting the carburetor and all that, like the linkages and stuff first?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because that body, even though it looked complete and was mostly complete, even if we had the engine dialed in, and that's also going to be like the most lengthy thing. So the earlier we get that ball rolling, the better.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things we can.
Can you fix that curtain? Sorry.
Oh no, not the prison wall cinder block.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things we can do while that body work is all being done. Like we can start ordering parts bit by bit while he's doing.
You have
this.
to take it somewhere, right?
It's not going far.
So
we won't have the car on hand, but like before we send it off to have all this done, we're gonna pull like the generator, and we're gonna pull the starter off and send it over to this place called Trap Generator, where we're gonna have them rebuild it, because right now I know the starter's cooked.
Okay.
It does not have enough oomph to spin the engine over. We've got it running. We've been hand cranking it.
Yeah.
Because the starter just.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, we're gonna send those out to get rebuilt while the car's, out.
Yeah.
And I might start pushing Ald into, okay, while it's out, let's get the manifold, let's get the carburetor, let's start buying these linkages we need.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back, we're just.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And then
it's a lot, man, and this is like just like an atypical build, It's where it's like it's all crunch, it's all.
It's not atypical; it's a typical A build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully you guys figure out some funds and get it all figured out, because this is quite amazing. Crunchies. Podcast next.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be sick.
We're not blazing any trails here.
Right.
We're sticking to like the well-established, just because I'm 30. I didn't grow up around this shit. No one in our club has grown up around this shit.
Yeah.
Somehow I've become the old car carburetor guru.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm scared. I don't know what any of this shit does.
I'm trying to stick to a well-trodden path. Something, a very basic build. Higher compression.
Yeah.
Better carburetor and intake manifold. Talk to Furman about making a custom header.
Yeah.
And a cam.
I mean, that does sound like a lot.
And on any other engine, it would be.
Yeah.
But this is as basic of an engine as you can have.
Yeah.
When we swap the head out, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Other than put the head on.
Speaking of the exhaust, what do these things sound like?
tractors.
That's unfortunate. That's actually unfortunate. But okay, good.
I mean,
All
what
right,
did
cool.
you think it was going to sound like?
Well, I mean, a tractor was an extreme, but I would think that it would have some sort of rhythm to it, you know?
Yeah, it's got a real lumpy, slow rhythm.
Yeah.
I think the flywheel's something ridiculous, like 60 pounds.
Nice. Interesting.
But there is a funny thing with these 4-cylinders, and that's the more you hop them up and the more you work them, the more they start to sound like a modern 4-cylinder.
Yeah. Can you pull up some videos? I do want to hear this.
Okay.
Give my ears a loosen. Yeah. Because this is like you were just kind of alluding to. Like, none of us grew up. I mean, I never even thought that obviously everyone's done something. You know, I know that they're out there, but it's one of them things where you're like,
Oh, they call the 4-cylinder ones bangers.
Bangers.
Trying to find one that has a relatively unmodern or unmolested 4-cylinder. Like this one's got what looks like an overhead cam conversion or an overhead valve conversion. I'm sorry. So that one under full tilt probably sounds kind of like a modern-ish 4-cylinder, but that's got the flathead.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a downdraft carburetor instead of the updraft.
Nice wheels.
That's the wheels we have, actually.
Mm.
But yeah, aftermarket manifolds.
Okay. Oh.
That's a tractor.
That's got. I think that's pretty good. That's cool. I mean, the Idol is tractor-esque, but it's got some rhythm to it.
Oh, when was this
Man,
filmed?
where are they at?
16 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, it's shitty quality. Let's go to something else. This is terrible. No, that's sick though. Hill climb. Whoa, that's actually moving pretty fast.
That one's probably decently built, but that was definitely a 4-cylinder.
Dude, go back to that. I want one more time.
This was filmed 16 years ago, so forgive the potato quality.
Dude, spinning.
Yeah, you hear as they start to
Banging
climb in
gears.
RPM, they start to sound a bit more like a typical 4-cylinder kind
A
of.
little bit.
Well, compared to the tractor sound they make, that one sounds a little nasty.
That one sounds nasty.
Yeah. But when we were at Trog, there was one or two that had yeah. There was one or two that had the overhead valve conversions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say they sound like a Honda, but under full tilt, they kind of sounded just oh, who straight piped that 4-cylinder car?
Right. I see. It's a different tone.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't ring immediately, and it's also bad quality. The sound's not coming.
Well,
in.
that's the other issue I've had is finding everyone has videos on good, well-made videos are on people who've done the Ford Flathead V8 builds.
Right.
There's not too many on these 4-cylinders.
Now that's gonna be my next segue. I love the video that I guess it was Alden put together. I think he had some help with. Shout out to whoever that was. But also, dude, are you guys not filming all this stuff, or at least documenting a lot of pictures? Because I mean, we've talked about it before how forums have pretty much died,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there's definitely Facebook groups that have helped, kind of, bring that. It hasn't died completely, you know. I don't mean to but yeah, there was back in the day when these forums were happening, people were documenting an entire build, you know, nice quality pictures, especially for the day,
Yeah.
you know, and we're outlining. It was a journal. It was today, this is, or I did this on the car, blah blah blah. These are all the things I did, and these are the issues.
you'd have
that
build
I had.
threads.
Yeah, build threads. Yeah. And I feel like today, like now it's videos. Like now like people do like vlogs. And also like, you know, everybody's doing vlogs, but you gotta start somewhere, you know? I like that.
Burt's Powered. That's the brand that made that new production block I was showing you. And the cylinder head. I want to buy the cylinder head and the cam from them.
Yeah.
Burt's Banger Power 28 Model A Sports Coupe.
I love that came up, that John Travolta.
But I'd love to
Yeah.
definitely like film some of this, but it's so scattered, and like once we're there, it's like I just want to like build it.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I also I dream of being able to like kind of do that with the car, and I haven't. And for the same thing, I've just been tinkering. I haven't really done like a thing on like on the 240 yet, where it's like it was worth a video. You know, like I thought. You know, there's a couple projects I think for sure, like doing the differential. You know, which is going to be a little bit of surgery, you know, and like nothing crazy. I mean, millions of people have done it and like done it on different cars. It's not crazy. But if you're in my exact boat, you know, and you want to walk through me going through, you know, issues and whatnot, it's like, I want to do that. You know, and it's easy for me because it's just me. It's my timeline.
Yeah.
It's me figuring it out, and it's right here.
Yeah.
Not a brag, but it's right here. So like I can, and that. But now to go back to where I was going with this was the fact that I do look at a lot of these guys that are like doing a really good job and of being vloggers and like, you know, building cars. And the number one thing that I keep seeing like either like slip out or just be kind of talked about without being talked about was the fact that there's so much preparation that goes into these like vlog style videos where like you kind of have to have something prepped, set up, and like parts there to be able to complete, because nobody wants to watch a video of like someone doing a clutch on a car and they pull it out and like they have the wrong clutch and they can't complete, you know what I mean? It's just like, and like it sounds silly, but like, because I would say personally, I don't know if I really care that much. I actually just enjoy watching someone else do it, but you got to do it right. You have to do it in a way where like I don't want to like be there for every second.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of editing. It's a lot of time lapsing, and
sure, yeah.
And the other issue is like, you know, what you were saying with like, you know, doing a clutch and you get it all apart. No, I got the wrong clutch, or I broke this bolt, or blah blah blah. A lot of the work we've done has been about 10 minutes of work, realizing we need another part, and then just hanging out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So we'd have a bunch of disparate. How do you say that word?
Well,
DISPARAT. But you know, a bunch of different clips of just like maybe 5 minutes of us actually doing anything, and then going, oh, yep, we need that. Cool. Like if I was a Model A expert and I could look at this and go, okay, that's going to need to be replaced. And then we just get a whole bunch of parts.
Sure, yeah.
That'd be one thing. So that's kind of the main reason we haven't really recorded much of anything this time.
How many people are, you know, and how many people are going?
It's
like,
not about
like,
how many people are and whatnot. But you like you were just saying, there's a lot of prep work that goes into recording a style of video about that, and the issues we run into, and the way we've been putting this together, isn't conducive to that.
Well, and I'm not saying that like the videos you guys could put out aren't going to be like the most entertaining thing to watch, but what it would do is it would teach you guys, and like that's why I'm very interested in doing like my own little like vlog videos as well. But it would teach you guys like so much, just like camera angles, audio qualities, and you know different like scenarios, editing, you know, do's and don'ts, and then but like even more of like what the video should be capturing is like the difficulties, you know? So like if someone's listening to this and like they're like, holy shit, like they're putting together a Model A, that's cool. And like now they're on Marketplace while they're listening to us right now. And they're like, dude, I could get a Model A frame. That's sick. And I have a little spot that I could be working on this summer, you know? And I want to like get a body and So now they're just interested in like most videos. Then they just want to follow along and see what you've already done. Like they want to like look at you make all these mistakes and then be like, oh, okay, he made all these mistakes. You know, it's like I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna like now that I've watched what they've actually done, like I'm gonna do that. You know, and that was the forums. You know, so like I think that would capture. And again, like you would have probably like, you know, 5 to like 8 solid days of working on this, and like each day was like 5 minutes, and like, well, hey, cool, day 2, like we're back, and like, but it's just like one, you know, like
I tell you
30 minute long video.
Now that
like, hey,
we've
like
got
monthly update.
Now that we've gotten the car running,
yeah,
and it's going to get metal work done, and that gives us potentially time to like start stockpiling parts.
Yeah,
we might be able to make a decent video after that, especially because Alden's friends with this guy. It's going to his shop. You know, shout out All Squared Up 4x4 and Fabrication.
All Squared Up, baby.
Yep.
Shout out.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Alden doesn't go over there and like shoot some video, or maybe I'll just nudge him about it.
Yeah, it would be cool.
While
and
he's
like,
doing all that.
and I don't know if you guys are even using a camera, but like we've already like figured out that like iPhone cameras are great and the audio quality's decent.
Good enough
To make a video, you know? That's
Besides,
like,
we don't need the best audio quality. We'll just overlay some like music or something.
yeah. Well, and like, yeah, the ins and outs. Like it's just like you talking to the camera. Like you don't need to be like banging on anything and like getting like the grinder.
Now, while the work's going, we'll have, you know, put on some like music or something.
I mean,
and then like when we're talking about like, hey, you know, what's going on? All right, well, we're putting the high compression head on.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
You fade the music out and you go to talking.
Yeah, and exactly, and like that's another thing too, that like, man, when you have like when you have a camera on you and like you have to like talk about it, like you have to be like to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, and I've watched these videos where like you've rambled on, you know, like on a podcast, like yeah, we can ramble on, like don't listen, you know, but like when you're making, yeah, right, but like when you're listening to, you know, like or watching a video, you're like you want to be engaged, you know. Podcasts are made for somebody to be like, you know, like doing dishes, driving. With an AirPod in, or driving, yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah, so with a video like that, like, you want to like keep people engaged, and I think that like making it concise, and like that's another like piece that's where it's like you got to think about what you're about to say. You know what I mean? It's so difficult, and like
yeah,
it looks easy
when
when
you
put
it. When you put me on the spot on camera.
Yeah,
like I don't mind being on camera here.
Yeah,
that's fine. We've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah, and like this is the easiest thing in the world. Like just being able to like you and I would have this conversation over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We would have this without all this. We would sit down at this table and just talk and like whatever.
I mean, we talk for like an hour before recording anyway.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we did it. We did it work. We're like, hey, we did that thing where we just talk for like 30 minutes. I look at my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, we have been on the phone for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
You're on a different job site.
You brought me nicely right to lunchtime.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, Shay, I didn't mean to like, you know, burn half an hour, but hey, it's lunchtime. Let's go get something to eat.
Yeah, allegedly. Love you, Todd. But yeah, so
it was a slow day.
Yeah. It was a billable day.
Yeah,
Adrian.
we were billable.
Yeah. It was a billable day. So, yeah, so like, but like the vlog stuff too, and I think that also I get worried that some people are like tired of like vlog style videos, and I think that in some ways I think people are also kind of tired of podcasts. But I like being able to like just have these like just going nowhere conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I do thoroughly enjoy, you know, of like where you get to like so. And speaking of that,
we're getting real meta here.
Yeah, the first half of this podcast was cars. Now, respectfully, we have to do the next hour and a half on topics.
We're officially cementing 3-hour podcasts. That's our.
We're not cementing. You know, this could be longer, but like we do need to go over, you know, some pop culture.
You know, just for you personally though, watch this video. This is.
I mean, not even me personally.
Right,
let's bring in the chat. Bring in the boys.
No, we're done with car stuff on the podcast. I'm just telling you.
Oh, we're not done. Let's watch it. How long is it?
It's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't want to just like.
Oh, 8 minutes.
No,
okay.
I'm telling you to watch this video when you get the
chance.
chance.
Throw it up. Well, I mean, throw it up anyway. I mean, look, I wasn't putting the hammer down. My bad.
Just
I didn't mean
because
like that.
I saw this video when I was kind of like researching stuff about Model A's and building 4-bangers. This is a Model T, but it's got Model A drivetrain. This is how I want my car to drive.
This is how I want my videos to look.
like as far as Model A's and Model T's go, this thing looks just rowdy enough to be fun, but doesn't seem like a high-strung race car.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you could take on the road and not hold up
Yeah,
traffic.
look at that thing. It's doing it.
But yeah, I want my car to run like this. Just strong, good running. Doesn't have to be the fastest thing in the world, but strong enough, fast enough. So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
all.
it's super cool.
He's probably gone a little bit farther than I'm gonna go. He's got these double Y headers that I don't know.
It's a good looking Model A.
That's a Model T.
It's a Model T?
Model T with a Model A drivetrain.
Oh, shit. Maybe I should have read the thread. My bad. I mean, I can't tell them apart, but hell
Once
yeah.
you get buried in it, it becomes really obvious.
Yeah, I got you.
But you know, these. It's funny working on old shit like this.
God, it looks so good.
There's a lot of like old lore, and you're not sure if it's just like that's the best way they figured it out. It doesn't mean it's the best way, and they just never went past that.
Yeah.
Or is that like actual sound advice?
Right.
Like these double Y headers.
Yeah.
Probably better than the cast iron manifold that came on there, obviously. But like nowadays, we have equations for figuring out the correct pipe diameter
Right.
for a certain like torque peak at a certain RPM range.
Yep.
Could we make something better? I mean, we have headers that make what's it called? A Corvette, LS engine sound like a flat plane crank V8.
See, dude, and I don't want to take away from the fact that we are recording this and we aren't talking about it, but I'm like, this is video talk.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, that's what people want to hear. They want to listen to that. You know what I mean? And like, you are the perfect person where like, if someone's clicked on a Model A video and like you geek out about like header size and direction and length and bro, fuck yeah. Like that's so sick. And that's what your videos should be,
Yeah.
I feel like you guys, especially because you have like the shop, the crew, the hang, like if I do videos, it's going to be probably kind of boring. I'm going to have to figure out a way to be enthusiastic while I'm like working down here
Especially
by myself.
if you're solo. Like you
That's
don't
what
have
I'm
anyone to
gonna-
bounce ideas off of.
Right. And
To
like,
just to riff off of.
right. And like, just like you were saying, where like you don't really have the fucking time. So like I have to work the time in. And that's why like I feel like I'm just tinkering because like I spend 2 hours down here after work and then it's like I work out and then rushing to get a shower and then eat dinner and then go to bed. It's like, so I feel like I'm tinkering, but like, to the same point, like I could, make little videos. I could just like record that time and like, yeah, I'm wearing a different shirt, but I'm like, yep, back again. So picking up where we left off and like, and it would be fine, but like,
I don't think
but
people
again,
care
it's
that
going
much
to
about
be
continuity.
yeah, but it's of course, but at the same time, it's like what I get worried about, and like it's the creativity aspect of where like you were saying, like there's an energy and a vibe like when you're with your boys and you're working on like, and especially this. It's not like you guys are just like changing wheel cylinders on like your car. It's like no, you guys are doing wild shit that like should be documented and recorded. And if it comes out like shit, then who cares? It's for you, It's not for
But when you work on old shit like this, that's like this is the domain of the boomer.
right.
You kind of have this inherent skepticism, at least if you're familiar with like modern performance, of like how much of this is like FUD lore,
Right,
and how much of
right,
this is legitimate. Like
Yeah.
and a lot of it is legitimate.
It's like, well,
these
that's how we
people-
always did it.
Yeah,
And it
there's
worked.
a reason that they did it that way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this is legitimate, but like
things
have gotten better.
Yeah, and we have computers.
So like this builds a lot more crazy than anything that I plan on doing, at least like right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a high compression head. It's a Lion speed head. I've heard mixed things about those. It can be finicky. They're prone to detonation if you don't set them up right. I'm not trying to go down that route, but if you get them to run right, supposedly they're the best of the best. Like some of them even have like dual spark plugs. Can get a little wild.
Yeah.
But he's got these double Y headers. I'm wondering if, getting custom equal length headers made by our boy Furman, shout out,
Yeah, shout out Project 13 Performance.
might be even better than that.
Yeah.
Because that's like the modern ethos for performance when it comes to like exhaust. It's like equal length. You want the header, the primary like diameter and length, and then the collector, and then the secondary all like to certain sizes for certain like scavenging frequencies to give you peak torque at a certain RPM range.
Yeah.
So I did the math for the primary diameters. Doing anything beyond that takes like way more brains than I have, and forbidden knowledge of the arcane arts of exhaust tuning.
Yeah.
But that right there is maybe is a step up over this double Y style on this guy's car. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But he's also got like dual carburetors. I don't think we need that because we're not going like super high compression. Our engine's not bored out that much. We're not revving that high.
Yeah.
I haven't pulled the pan, so I don't know if we have a balanced rotating assembly. If we do, fucking sweet. But if we don't, then like the thing's not going to rev past like 2,700 anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not without shaking itself to pieces.
Yeah. So the need for that much fuel is just.
It's kind of.
It's overkill.
Maybe.
Yeah. It looks
Maybe not.
sick, and I can imagine, especially from the aesthetics of this car and the quality of this video, that he was going for the aesthetics.
Yeah. He says
beautiful.
in this video, I've watched this video countless times. I love this video. But he said that he just went for a mild build, and that is a high compression head, cam, and intake and exhaust manifolds carburetor.
Yeah.
That's all he's done.
Carburetors.
And he's like this. Yeah, carburetors. But even he said like every Model A engine is different. You don't know if it's going to be a leaker. You don't know if it's going to be finicky and like have problems. You don't know if it's going to be a stout runner. He's like, this one runs incredibly stout.
Yeah. So quality
Like,
control.
this one
was
might
on the snuff.
This might be a poor, example for me to like base my expectations.
Sure.
Because it could be an anomaly.
Yeah.
Of an engine.
Sure.
That's just how shit was back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he also did say it's a leaker. It leaks. It just leaks. New gasket,
Interesting.
it leaks anyway.
Interesting.
But that's just how they were back in the day. So he got a strong runner. Downside is it leaks. Seems like a fair trade-off.
I prefer that, and I think that I'm actually kind of used to that.
Yeah, we drive shit boxes here.
I'm comfortable with these
There ain't a
terms.
stain under it. I'm worried there's no fluid in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yes, I mean,
Damn, this is so cool, man.
so we're going to have a bit more of a radical header, but there's a lot of moving parts. I don't want to
like
synchronize.
stainless steel pie cuts, like.
That's up to Furman. And also my budget.
Yeah.
No, I think Furman was thinking he can get like a couple like J-bends that'll give him like all the various radiuses he needs and just weld it as needed. So it's not going to be like crazy pie cut, and that would get us disqualified from Trog immediately.
You think so? You think they'd be like, dude, get out of here with this fucking tubular manifold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I'm wondering if like even just having an equal length header is pushing it.
Interesting. Yeah,
But
you guys might be like making new rules.
My justification is it's period correct because people back in the day would make their own headers.
Yeah.
Like they just did.
Yeah.
So that's my justification. If we run into issues, maybe we can fight it. I don't know. But
I mean, at the very least, have a plan B.
At the
like,
very least,
have, like,
yeah,
like,
I'm
keep
gonna
the
look
old
for
header.
I'm gonna look for something like that maybe.
Yeah. That way, we'd be like, okay, you dinged us. We'll put the other headers on.
You
So,
happy?
You happy now? Yeah.
But
Man, this is fun and exciting. This is like dude. This is. It's of all things, it's exciting.
look, the older I
This
get,
is so
the older
cool,
my
man.
taste in cars get, and I think it's because of shit like this.
Yeah.
Like your car.
Oh, you know what? I think you may have peaked. You can't get any older.
Oh, I could, but it'd be an absolute pain in the ass, and I have no intentions of that.
I mean, by a couple years.
well, I mean,
you're splitting hairs.
I have always said like, if I wanted an old car, I want a Model A.
Yeah.
I don't want a Model T because then driving it becomes a headache.
Yeah.
You got 3 pedals. They don't do any of what you expect them to do. The parking brake is also your neutral and drive selector. Like, it gets weird.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
I wanted to still have
And
traditional
surprisingly,
controls.
and I feel like the folks at home probably would be like, Adrian doesn't have you.
I like driving my cars.
I can guarantee that, like, at one point you're gonna get so bored, you'll be like, fuck it, give me a Model T.
No.
You'll get there.
No.
I think you will.
No, do you know why?
Why?
If I got bored, I'd get a steam car.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Get me a Stanley Steamer.
That's funny.
That'd be interesting. But
yeah.
I don't have the money for a steam car, nor do I have the patience for letting it warm up for 30 minutes while making sure the boiler doesn't run out of water and the thing explodes.
Yeah, the explosion is where I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. God damn.
You know what's funny?
We have gasoline.
You know what's funny?
Adrian, the ferry is only a nickel. You know that old saying?
I think I've heard it, but
It's this old saying of like, you know, these like Buddhist monks, you know, have been meditating for so long that they've been able to been able to walk on water. And well, yeah, but the ferry's only a nickel.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, just fucking relax,
But
okay? Like, just take the ferry.
So, you know, back when we first, like, the automobile was first, like, gaining traction, we had gasoline, steam, and electric cars. We had all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I think steam was actually more popular because gasoline cars were finicky and, you know, they smelled bad. And
water was everywhere.
yeah, water and coal, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
But when gasoline cars started kind of getting more refined, started, like, really eating into that market share, they had to do, like, smear campaigns. And, you know, they called the gasoline engine the internal explosion engine.
Ooh.
Because, you know, its default operation is explosions.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously that's much less safe than good old reliable steam.
Yeah. Like, no one was scared of steam yet? Like,
Steam was everywhere.
yeah,
Nowadays, like,
steam was scary.
yeah, we're working on, like, steam shit. We're like, this low pressure boiler is making like 5 psi. Is that a problem?
Yeah, I'm getting nervous. 5 psi.
Shay told me about how you lied to him.
Oh. Now, still to this day, I'm still not sure if I made the right decision, but I could tell.
Shay confided in me that
Yeah.
it was probably the right decision.
Yeah. So he was being nervous,
Uh-huh.
like the whole time. I could kind of smell it on him. So like, the last thing you want, you know, someone being, you know, your right hand man and like, you know, like being your backup person because
In
like,
a semi-dangerous situation.
Yeah, when you need a set of third hands, it's like you want to make sure that everybody's confident. You know, so
No one's gonna freeze.
Yeah, but at the same time, you also do want to make sure that everybody's also aware of the dangers. You don't want now. Of course, you know, like I was the person in charge, so like I was handling the heavy lifting. I was the one in the danger zone. I just needed Shay there to just be the calm, level head. And now, if I'm honest with you, I may have been a little bit freaking myself out by myself. You know, I'm like, and the last
you
thing
called
I needed
me about it.
Yeah, the last thing I needed was like me being freaked out and then Shay freaking me out even more. And I was like, so yes, I did hide him from the fact that there was 160 psi of high pressure steam behind a 3/4 inch ball valve that's been there probably since like the 80s.
It's a gate valve, first of all.
Oh fuck, you're right. I was not even a ball valve. It's a gate valve. So yeah, this 3/4 inch gate valve that I'm literally like, you know, when you go to turn a gate valve, especially those old ones, like on the point of them being set, and then you get them to like loosen again, and then it's like that dead play, and it's like, oh, you're like, oh fuck, I can breathe. It's like, okay, I didn't die. And then like you actually start to like wheel it open, and then you're like, okay. And because like, dude, at any point, if that thing just
that packing nut fails.
that packing nut fails, and just
There goes
lets
your hand.
go, there goes my fucking hand. And like that's the thing that like is just almost unfathomable, you know?
Yeah, I was wearing
like,
gloves, and I was telling myself they'd help.
They're not gonna help. Like they're just gonna keep your hand.
They're just gonna fuse to your skin.
Warmer, yeah, dude. And like that's the thing that like you can't even like really wrap your head around when you're looking at a pipe and you're just like, yeah, because like I've seen a million of these pipes, but like this pipe,
If that
this
pipe
one
fails, I'm dead.
Yeah, this one doesn't have like warm water behind it. It doesn't have cold water behind it. It's like this is a fucking real deal shit. Like you're gonna die. Like,
This
you're
is
gonna
high-pressure
lose a
steam.
hand. Like it's gonna be nuts.
Well, you
So-
know how they check for steam leaks on like the super high pressure
Yes,
steam
they
systems.
would use a fucking broom handle
and
just
if
start walking.
if the end falls off, oh,
Don't walk. It's just that there it is. There's the leak. Yeah. Yeah. So like there's that. So yeah, so but I didn't know if it was right at the time, but I could tell, and I was also trying to get my own nerves calm. So if I was like, that dude, this is like totally fine. Like it's all good.
We're not on the
We got
high
a
pressure
plan. Yeah, that's not the high pressure side. Like the high pressure's over there, but it's no, you're fine. This is all good. It regulates it down. Like we're gonna be fine, dude. It's all good. And so, you know, my heart's fucking racing. And and honestly, like, I didn't realize I even had this side of me where like I can be so stone cold, you know, and so
I'm gonna lie to this kid's face.
yeah, and like, cause honestly, like I you know, and Shay will tell you, like, I didn't flinch, but like at the same time, and like my heart's fucking racing.
No, we've talked about.
I'm like
we've been
I'm
you and me
quickly-
both have been in scenarios, usually our own fault, where it's like, okay, if I fuck up, things go bad real fast.
Yeah, but like not people die fast.
And-
Not I'm gonna lose my fucking hand fast.
Yeah. Well,
well,
I know our parents watch this, so we're not gonna. We'll keep it vague.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you know,
sorry, Mom.
we've been in some sketchy scenarios.
Yeah.
Maybe not with each other, but like,
Yeah.
I know I've been. I know you've been.
yeah.
And you go into this default survival mode. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have the extra
Just fight or
brain
flight.
power to be scared.
Yeah.
It's just, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And your face just,
Yeah.
and you just do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, there's this like weird state of confidence, and like it just like it washed over me, and like and it's happened millions of times, and I like just followed suit. I could see him getting nervous, and I was like, and I just was like, nah, we're good. Like, you know, you're being no totally safe. It's all good. Don't worry about it. This is, you know, routine. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And so we get it done, and then I get everything like all buttoned up, and then no leaks. Everything's good, and I like walked out of the roped off zone at this point. And I was like, oh fuck. I pull off my gloves, and like Shay's like, hell yeah, dude, like, no leaks, that's cool. And I was like, oh, Shay, I may have lied to you. I was like, I couldn't tell you at the time, but I need to tell you now because you do need to be aware of like this corner and that you're not allowed to touch anything on that. Don't even be fucking near it. I was like, see that gauge over there? And he like got a little closer to the gauge. He's like, yeah, 160? He's like, is that a lot for that? I was like, yeah, dude. Like 160 PSI of steam is high pressure steam. And I was like, we're touching high pressure steam.
We were playing with a live bomb.
Yeah. Like, dude. And he's like, holy fuck, dude. I was like, I thought that was what it was. He was like, bro, I was kind of freaking out at the beginning.
That's why I lied
and
to
I was
you.
like, and that's why I had to lie to you, bro. I'm sorry. I had to lie because you were freaking out. And like,
Yeah.
I was freaking out, but I was like, we couldn't both be freaking out. Like, somebody had to be calm.
Luckily,
and
when
it was you.
because you replaced the exact same trap that me and Juan did.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, modern parts are shit. That's
Yeah.
why it failed. Like,
Yeah.
not even a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Juan did that.
Yeah.
That exact same one.
Yeah.
Which is why I was trying to reassure you when you called me. Like, is this good? I'm like, I don't know. It didn't blow up on us. You're
Yeah.
probably fine.
Yeah. No, I was freaking out about it in the morning. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. We closed those gate valves. Luckily, somehow, you know what? Not luckily. Modern parts are shit. Old
Yeah.
gate valves,
Yeah.
I guess they work fine.
Yeah. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, so they closed. They were holding back the steam pressure just
Yeah.
fine while we were swapping out that trap.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is.
But
it
yeah,
is.
I mean, I told you what we did that day. It's like we prepped everything we could beforehand, so all we had to do was just slap the unions on, and that's
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing. So like, I mean, we couldn't prep anything because like we had to put everything that was on it
Yeah.
on. So
Well-
like we just closed the valves, let the pressure out, and then
Yeah, I think we replaced like 2 nipples, so we had that part going for us.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so we reused everything you guys had. So pulling off those nipples and unions and then
Transferring them.
transferring them, and then like in the midst of like my nerves, making sure that it was going correctly, and then filling the trap up with water, and then just slamming it back in. And like that was it. But yeah, I mean at the time, taking it off, I felt like was happening in slow motion. I don't know if it was like that for you, but like we had to. This is where I got fucking like white knuckle nerve. I need whiskey for even talking about it. What do you think about the monkey shoulder?
I'm not saying that this is bad, but I think I like monkey shoulder better.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad because
This is smoother.
yeah,
but it's got a sharper taste.
That's a $75 bottle. So I'm glad that you like the $33 bottle better.
No, this is definitely smoother. Like as far as alcohol burn by itself,
Yeah.
this has a milder taste.
Yeah.
I don't know. I seem to like that better. I do like the almost like vanilla-y aftertaste of this. I kind of wish that there was a little bit of that in here.
Yeah, there's a bit more burn, a little less taste, but
Maybe if we
They're
put
both
like
smooth.
just a drop or two of some vanilla extract in there,
yeah, start cooking it up ourselves.
or that might be too much. You just get like a vanilla beanstalk and just
Ooh,
as a garnish.
damn. Yeah, we are fancy now. Bro, we're out here.
Fancy.
God damn.
There's like actual whiskey heads going, what the fuck is
Yeah,
he
they want to
talking
jump
about?
through the screen, like, don't you touch that. That's monkey shoulder. You hear me? Don't. No, I'm
not
just
even
kidding.
that.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, we've talked about that. This is basic bitch shit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm joking. But
But who the fuck puts a vanilla stalk in whiskey? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
no, it probably fucks. But yeah, so when we shut everything off and we broke the unions and I was going to pull the pull the pipes out, they were so forced together that I had to like lift it. I had to like, because they're so pressed, I had to lift it for the union to come out of its cup.
I don't recall us having that issue.
Wow,
Things might have
think
expanded
that it
or something.
Expands. Yeah. So like,
Well,
it
if we
was
had
still hot.
put new nipples on there, they would have been cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So when we did it, like I went to go.
Or
pull
you're
it
just
out.
not as strong as me and Juan, and you didn't turn the nipples in as far.
That must be it. No. I'm talking about.
Oh, on disassembly. That's right. Yeah, I don't know.
disassembly. Yeah. No,
Yeah, I
on
guess they
disassembly.
expanded.
Yeah. And it went together a lot smoother. So actually, now that I think about it,
It cooled
I think
down.
It definitely, it definitely was that. So, but so when we went to go pull them apart, like now I have to bend them
Bend
apart.
old metal pipes
Yeah.
that are kind of rusty and full of 150 psi of steam.
Yeah, I'm bending a pipe that on like my elbow side has got fucking 160 psi, and on the other side too. Like if that
It's
side
after
breaks,
the pressure
it's after
reducer,
the
but that's like what,
regulator.
80?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's at 80, and then it goes down to like 40.
That was
and then
that
I
was
think
just
it
a
goes down to,
guess.
like,
Is it actually at like about 80?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No, I think it's like 80.
Man,
I think
I'm
it's 100 actually. I think it's
I'm
100.
so good at my job.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that bending and just like cracking. Oh God, I hate it. I fucking hate it. That's the scariest shit that we've ever had to.
I mean,
to
steam
fuck with.
expands
That's the
so
scariest
much.
sight that we have.
Steam expands so much, even like a low pressure, like 5 psi boiler, you don't want to be caught up in that.
No, dude. No. Yeah, so to anybody who's listening and doesn't know anything about like steam pressure, is that like 5 psi is still pretty scary. You know, if you were to break a gauge off by accident with 5 psi of steam on the other side, like you're probably gonna get burned in the hard.
Well, here's
like,
the thing.
Good. It's gonna be a good
Steam
burn.
is at minimum 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees
Right.
Celsius. Like,
Yeah.
that's enough to scald immediately. Like,
Right.
It's not like, I can bear it for like half a second. No, like your skin starts blistering immediately.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's
And
not, it's
again,
not like,
steam expands. So like 5 psi going to atmospheric pressure of 0 psi, technically 14.7 if you want to get sciencey.
Right.
It's just going to and fill
Yeah.
the room
Yeah.
with 212 plus degree steam.
Yep.
Like, you get melted.
Yeah.
Now you jack that up to 150 and like, yeah, it's fucking scary.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. And so like I don't even want to like think about what the temperature of what that would be at that pressure. Because obviously there's a pressure temperature relationship, and like,
Oh yeah, it's gonna go up.
yeah. So
again, 212 is the minimum.
Yeah.
Like, you scald yourself with 140 degree water.
yeah, and like think about like I mean, you know, you haven't done too much cooking, but like just like touching the side of a pan, you know, and you're not boiling like water past like, you know, let's not even get into that. But either way, like if you get to like a boiling temperature, you know what I mean? Like
Well, that
obviously
water's going to be 212 degrees.
12 degrees, but you know,
It won't get any hotter than that.
no, but like the pan itself is what I mean.
Yeah, very, very, very hot.
Yeah, so like that's how most people, like, you can get burned by like the boiling water that pops off.
Oh, yeah, you
and,
touch
like,
the pan.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you touch the pan.
Now imagine the air is that temperature.
Right. And like there's not escaping that. That's not like that water almost
Yeah,
got
I've
me.
pulled
It's
my
like,
hand back out of the 212 degree air to the 212 degree air.
yeah. Like
Steam is fun. So yeah,
Yeah.
I want a steam car.
stay in school, kids.
Yeah, so you know, I'd like a steam car at some point.
Yeah. No, thank you.
They make like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Have you seen the little steam train that guy, like, it's almost like a hobby like train, but it's an actual steam train that he has to like
Yeah,
start
live
and
steam.
put coals in,
Yeah.
and the guy like sits on it, and it's like a full size man sitting on this like little train.
Yeah, a train like
kinda,
the engine,
can like let
the
his
engine
legs
is
wiggle.
this big, and he's just like
He's
I
like
think a lot of them,
straddling
the tracks are elevated, so your feet can just
Yeah,
hang
his
down.
feet he's straddling it. He's like his feet can just hang.
I think that's just testament to the power of steam that tiny train can pull him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's power steam, baby.
Yeah, my autism kicks in with steam trains.
Steam.
I love steam trains.
I know. You always have. You
Always have.
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine was my shit. Speaking of which, the creator of that died very recently. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
I don't know if you ever watched much of that when you were a kid.
I did. Yeah,
But-
I did. I had some toys and stuff. You know, I was into it. It never really like rang to me. Cars were just the only thing.
Any kind of transportation is like right up my alley.
Yeah.
Planes, trains, automobiles, even boats.
Yeah.
But Steam is scary.
Yeah. Steam is scary.
I respect it though.
Yeah. Well, it must be. It must be respected, and it's out there. It's not really necessarily going away, but you know, it's around. But we tanged pretty hard again.
Yeah, we
but-
were gonna wrap up cars and it turned into Steam.
Yeah. Well, hey, you guys got extras.
Yeah. Yeah,
You wanna take
normally
it-
we
you wanna
keep
take
that behind the paywall to on Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah. On
That
our
we'll eventually set up,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. All the imaginary people that are on our Patreon. Hey, well, let's take a pee break and then we'll change
Regroup.
gears. Yeah, we'll change gears. But back from the pee break.
Yeah. So yeah.
So when we were off the pee break, we
got carried away.
We got carried away with off camera talk, but we're catching back up now and what we left off before we got the cameras
we
back.
were gonna change gears
Was
and yeah, we're taking that quite literally. We're not talking about my Model A anymore. We're talking about gear changing and driving manual.
Yeah. Yeah, and how
So-
some people just
So
God bless them for even doing it. Having a manual car, you just can't change gear.
Yeah. So
Because it's an art. And
there's more to it than just press clutch, move lever, let off clutch, get back on
yeah,
gas.
yeah. And now it is difficult. And so, you know what's funny, and I don't want to so I'm tanging again, but so when Holly and I were here on the weekend and we were talking about like driving stick, and she was like, and she doesn't know how to drive stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I can definitely teach you now, like in like my
I
car.
like teaching people.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
fun.
Yeah. So, and obviously we couldn't go anywhere. It was like almost like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, you know what? Like, grab a glass of wine. Let's go sit in the car. Cause like she couldn't even get over the gear changes themselves. She's like, I don't understand like what you're doing when you like are moving the gears around.
My
She's
mom was the exact same way when I tried to teach her. She
Yeah.
got the hard part, the
Yeah.
taking off from a stop. She actually got decent at that.
no.
She took so long trying to change gears between remembering to let off the gas, press the clutch,
Yeah.
move the lever into the correct slot, let off the clutch, get back on the gas. That by the time she got out of first and into second, we had coasted to a stop.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
So she got the hard part down, but she can't figure out the easy part.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
Yeah, just keeping it going. Yeah, and so like for Holly, like she had to wrap her head around the pattern, and I was like, it's
instinctual to you and me now.
It's exactly, but she's like, how do you know where the gears are? Like you don't like because like my shift knob has like no pattern
Yeah.
on it, you know, and so so I had to explain it to her, and I showed her like the pattern of it, and even like wrapping her head around the pattern, she was like, this is nuts. And I was like, but yeah, like 99%. There's a couple dog leg, gearboxes, and but
Then you get 3 on the
but
tree and it gets
yeah.
weird.
Then I talked about 3 on the tree as well, and we brought up the truck that I drove, Xavier's truck.
We should get him on here.
Yeah, we should.
He's a character.
We should.
He's a character.
But yeah, so we were going over it, and then so she's like, so wait, so like what RPM should I shift at? And then she's like, and then how do I know, like, so how many miles an hour do I need to be and go here? I'm
You're
like,
overthinking it.
I was like, yeah. And I was like, it's not that simple. I was like, it's everything. It's all happening at once. And and I didn't even realize it until I had to explain it to her. I was like, yeah, this is one of those things where there's no like, okay, well, you go here and at this time, then you do this. And then and then it's like this like, and that's what makes manual just such a beautiful.
It's engaging.
It's engaging. There's all of these inputs and sounds.
Yeah, I'm a
and
manual
feelings
supremacist, supremacist, like absolutely. But like,
Yeah.
you know what she needs? So some of the cheaper cars,
Mm-hmm.
like back in the day, they didn't have a tachometer.
They're like a shift light.
No. What they did was they had 1, 2, and like 3 or 4 or whatever on the speedometer.
Oh,
So when you hit like 20 miles an hour, it would say 2. That meant go into second gear.
yeah, okay, yeah,
The Citroen 2CV.
yeah.
It was such a bare bones basic car, didn't have a tach, so that's what they gave you.
Yeah.
A lot of the K trucks, I think, have them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again though, like it's dependent.
Right.
It's dependent on like how fast you're trying to accelerate.
Yeah.
Because like taking
That's what
your
I was
car,
trying to tell
you can
her.
shift out of first gear as soon as like 10 miles an hour if you're just putzing
Yeah.
around. But if you
Yeah.
want to floor it and you've got a car like a Honda that revs to 8K, you might be able to take it up to 30.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and then like then there was like okay, well, let's just say I got up to speed. I'm on the highway. Like now, like someone's slowing down in front of me almost to a stop. Like what do I do with the gears? Like can I just leave it in the gear that I'm at and then until I slow down? Like no, you're probably gonna stall. Like in that gear, like if you're in highway gear, like
if you're
doing
in
65
and you go down to like 5 miles an hour, yeah, it's not gonna.
Yeah, and I was like, no, and then it's just, I have to have the clutch in the whole time, and I was like, no, you can put it in neutral, and then it just blew her brain apart. She was like, what?
Yeah, it's. I remember when I first learned manual.
Yeah,
it's a lot coming at you at once.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
I mean, there are some people who claim to have like taken to it like a fish out of water. I was not one of those people.
I definitely was. I
was not.
Yeah.
But now I'm one of the best manual drivers I know.
I mean, for one of the things, like, God forbid my fucking father's listening to this, but one thing that the dude gave me without even knowing it was just the fact that he had a manual truck and that like he would be driving all the time, and I got to like as a child like ask questions, and I'm sure I asked all the same questions that Holly did, and it was like, and I'm sure it was the same banter, and that doesn't come in on the podcast. I found out the hard way. It's fine. Okay. But one of the main like things that helped me was that like while I was driving, I would be like, can I change the gear like with my left hand? I would like sitting in passenger seat, and then he would tell me like which gear to go into, and then like I wouldn't understand, but then I was seeing it.
But you're getting the experience, and
change.
You understand what the car feels like, and when like he's asking to shift because the car feels like this,
right?
Like you can feel the engine starting to lug.
Yeah, and I felt it. Yeah, and it was like an older truck, so
Ranger.
You could
Danger Ranger.
Danger Ranger.
Was yours? It was a V6, right?
Fucking Ranger. Yeah.
You know what? There was something I remember about that truck, and now that we're older and we know what the parts were, maybe you can shed some light on this. But I remember your dad saying that there was something wrong with it, and I think it was a cracked yoke.
Yeah. Yes, that was the complaint, I would say.
And it never got fixed.
Never got fixed. What do you mean?
Why not? Yokes aren't that expensive.
Oh yeah, it's work. I mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Like the dude just didn't want to fucking do it.
Yeah, you had that.
And like to be honest,
you had that turbocharged Thunderbird Super Coupe,
4-cylinder turbo. Yeah,
that just sat.
Yeah,
and he never let us play in it. He let us play in the Ranger.
You're right.
The actual working car, but not the car that just sat there and was never fixed.
Yeah, and look,
that was such a cool
I can go, yeah.
And especially looking back on it now, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
You should have like asked him to have that.
Well, listen to me. I could go all day with all the missed opportunities that my father has not given me. but yeah, because that would have been like super cool. And,
was it manual?
Like making me.
Was it a manual Super Coupe?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a Fox. That's an SVO Mustang in a tuxedo.
Yes. Yeah. Like blue with like the red pinstripe through the plastic bumper trim, blue interior, like that comfy like couch.
And it sucks now because
material.
like again, we have a lot more knowledge now. Like I would have loved to have like tried to fix that thing.
Fuck yeah. And like that was always I was always under the assumption that like that's what I was going to do, and that like that he was going to help teach me how to fix it, and at the same time like see the car become his again, but also I get to drive it kind of idea. That was like but I guess reality and fate had other plans.
Yeah.
So anyway, off my soapbox. God damn it, what happened here?
We're talking about driving manuals.
Cheers to our childhood and getting off of this fucking topic.
I mean, you always had my dad.
I sure do. I got a new daddy now.
Daddy Dave.
I got Daddy Dave.
Shout out Dave.
Shout out Daddy Dave.
That's another crazy, like just coincidence.
Yeah, dude, and also shout out to Bill Disk, because bro, who would have thought?
Yeah, we went to high school.
High
now
school.
Now he's your stepbrother.
Yeah, now he's my stepbrother. Isn't that crazy? I didn't even know him then, but everybody loved him in shop class. And that's where I think for sure Bill can probably even say, I don't think Bill watches, but shout out Bill. What's up, dude? Come do the pod. But he shined in his shop class, and that's where
he was an auto body.
Yeah, he was an auto body. Yeah, and everybody in auto body loved him, and he was always so funny, just another character. He's he's one of those guys just like Dave is, where they just have these one-liners. He's just it's just in their DNA to have these little one-liners. I think it was the You ever had whiskey? It's good. Like it's just like these like funny. Like,
I think it was like someone asked him, like, Bill, do you drink? He's like, yeah. Well, what do you drink? Coors Light and whiskey.
yeah. It was
You
just
ever have
like,
whiskey?
It's good. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just these.
I
and
still
these-
say that every now and
Yeah,
again. Like, I
but-
don't know if he realized that spread to auto tech from his
Yeah.
own class, but like,
Yeah.
I still say that.
Yeah, but he's the same guy today. He's still like he's funny. We could chop it up at all like the family gatherings and stuff. He's funny.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah, small world, man. Yeah, small world. But yeah, and that's Delaware for you too. You know, but
Second smallest state, but we were the first.
we're the first motherfucker, first state.
But yeah, driving manual.
So yeah, driving manual. Yeah,
Yeah.
so some people, you know, and like you went into this. I'll let you kind of go into it. But like, there's just like there's a smooth rhythm that you can get into with like gear changes where like they don't feel like work. Where like you're just so in tune with like how the car drives and being able
Yeah,
to like
that's-
have the gas at the same time where you can make this like a smooth operation.
Yeah,
and that's
like
like
that-
that's what always like I think that's what Holly was saying was like it was just baffling to her. She's like the car is just going and you're just changing and
You're just
things are
doing
going
shit and it's working.
Yeah, and like it's just working. Why is it working? She's just like why?
Because I am one with the machine.
Yeah, but
No, but,
it is though. And that's what's like kind of beautiful
Yeah.
about the whole thing.
You get a feel for it, and like
Fuck
the
yeah.
thing that's hard to explain to people is again like when do you shift? Why do you shift? It depends, and you get a feel for it. Like if it's starting to lug, okay, downshift.
Yeah.
But what does lug feel like? If
Yeah.
you've only driven automatics your entire life, you probably have no idea what that is or
No.
what it feels like.
No. Yeah.
Or like you don't have to wind the gear out every time.
Yeah.
Like you can shift early because you're really not pressing it,
Yeah.
or your car just makes a shitload of torque.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So we were. You had just like mentioned like, I'm tanging again.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like work. I've seen so many people ask, like especially young kids, like, oh, I'm thinking about getting this car. It's manual. Should I get that for my first car? And everyone wants to hit them with the whole like, oh, well, what's your commute? Do you do a lot of city driving? Because then it's gonna be torture. It's gonna be awful. It'll be the worst thing ever. And I'm like, I've been in traffic jams in my manual car, and like, I was more pissed off about the fact that I was on a traffic jam than like worrying about my clutch foot hurting or my clutch leg hurting from having to work the clutch so much because I don't know. It's just it was a non-issue.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you have a stock car, like the clutch is light.
Yeah.
Like you can just.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I did. If we're rolling at like 5 miles an hour, I'd get the car moving in first, throw it right in neutral, and just coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need to accelerate. It's not that hard to press the clutch and just put it in second,
Yeah. And then just
on the gas, and I'm off the clutch again.
yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Is like people who like use the clutch too much, who are like I'm sitting at a red light
And they're holding
like,
the clutch
They're
and they're
holding
in
the clutch
gear.
in and like in
Way
gear.
to wear out your frickin'
throw
bearing, idiot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like it's one of those things, and people always go like the funny joke is like, hey, like don't wear out your brake fluid. Like it's like, but it's not that. It's like the old joke that like brake fluid wears out if you hold the brakes. It's like I don't know, but yeah, but actually holding the clutch in for too long, like
Yeah, you're
100
gonna wear out your throwout bearing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that also like I've been in moments where like I thought that I was going to like on a hot day, and I'm like, oh, this is our light, and I'm like, why is it not changing? And I'm like, fuck, and I pull out, and then now there's been like 3 times where I've pumped the clutch, and like now on that 3rd time, something just feels wrong.
I remember
Like,
you
something
complaining
feels
about
light.
that with your
Integra.
your Civic too,
Oh, maybe it was the Civic.
because we went to the track and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, she's feeling a little mushy.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's another thing. Like that's why, like, and I'm, John Newton when he was here. I don't know if this actually made it to the podcast, but him and I were talking about brake fluid. It should have made it to. If it didn't, I'll talk about it now.
I mean, how many episodes in are
So-
we? 46. Like,
46.
It gets hard to remember what we've covered.
Yeah, but the brake fluid. So like that .5 brake fluid they have now, like it can handle higher temperatures, but it breaks down very quickly.
well, that's been true of like even .4.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's funny, like I was talking with the guys with the Outrunners about like brake fluid and flushing
Mm-hmm.
fluid and all that. I'm like, yeah, I run .4 in the Buick. And they're like, why?
yeah.
Like, they obviously didn't have that. I'm like, because .4, what differentiates .4 from .3 is boiling point.
Yeah.
And that Buick needs all the help it can get.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not about like high performance. It's like I'd like to get more than 2 stops from highway speed.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, you know,
And I'm like, first off, my master cylinder leaks not from the pressure bearing side, but just from the other side into the freaking car.
yeah.
So I'm constantly replenishing it with new fluid.
Yeah.
It's not breaking down on me.
Yeah. So
But like,
what he did say though is that like there's a threshold that like has been argued between .4 and .5, where it's like .4 seems to be the best bang for the buck.
oh yeah,
because like the
especially
degradation,
if you're not like a
Right.
professional.
Yeah, because he's like I think he said that they run .5 on all the race cars. He's like, but dude, like everything gets changed like every time they go out. Like it's like so much goes.
Well, yeah, if you're going into
that
like a
shit.
professional race, you want fresh fluid.
Yeah.
You just do,
And that's
whether
not
it's
even,
broken
like-
down or not.
And like it's not even professional. These are just rich guys that are going out there trying to beat their friends.
Well,
You know what
okay,
I mean?
if
They
you have
tons of
if you
money.
have a built race car and you
Right.
are pushing it beyond the limits of like what a stock car could do, then like you're gonna need that extra protection.
right, yeah,
And again, brakes are like the most important part of a car. You don't want to
Yeah.
neglect that, especially on a racetrack.
yeah, exactly.
Because like even if they're not professionals, the cars they have are infinitely more capable than like what you and me might have.
Yeah, and if you're that guy who's like why you spend all your money, your time there? It's like that car is you. Like don't fuck around. Like, yeah. So it's an image per se, but yeah. So it was kind of funny because I was like why is there like more, like what could be like the balance and difference? But it literally is just like it's just the higher the boiling point, the faster it degrades.
The more heat they can take.
Yeah. So like, but .4 does still seem to be like
It's a good compromise.
It's the compromise.
Dot
right.
3 is like for a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
Just drive into a grocery store and work.
But it's
every
also
day.
it's also kind of funny too that it's like where it's like why even go .3? It's like you spend $1 more. It's like it's not like there's like some like crazy
Yeah, .4 is not, like,
price
crazy
change.
expensive.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of cars have .4 in the factory now.
Yeah.
All my .4 came from one of my former jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Stockpile. Yeah.
I
Stockpile.
had,
You're
I had
holding
a
on
stock.
to.
I burned through most of it.
Yeah. I did too.
I do have
Allegedly.
like 12 cans of undercoating.
Nice.
They're kind of old. I don't know if they're still good, but I got them.
Yeah.
I might, I keep telling myself I'm going to undercoat the Buick.
It's hard.
Parts of it aren't undercoated. Parts of it have that 60-year-old undercoating that's probably highly carcinogenic, terrible for the environment, and will give you like,
So don't grind it off.
don't grind it off. But
Yeah.
man, if it doesn't fucking work,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
my
yeah,
car's
yeah.
got no rust.
Yeah. You know what is like so funny about like speaking of that, I was underneath the 240 and there's a distinct like where the oil came out of the transmission, like where it's just still pristine, and then just outside of that and like the further it goes down to like the back corners, like closer to the rear wheels where you can see like the surface rust touching places, and it's like, man, oil's good.
Yeah, I mean, minus the very, very new power steering leak, my car doesn't leak to the point where it drips. It never drips.
Yeah, like subframes
It
don't rot
seeps
out of
everywhere.
cars.
Though.
Like,
It seeps
it's the-
everywhere.
yeah.
And on my car, on my Buick, you can see like ahead of the engine has like surface rust.
Yeah.
And I mean like the lightest. It's not like, like I can chip chunks off. It's brown instead of metal
Yeah.
colored.
Yeah.
But everything behind the oil pan
Yeah.
is kind of greasy, but looks pristine. So, I like oil seep.
Yeah.
I kind of like
a little
it.
bit's okay. I think a little bit goes a
The
long
frame
way.
can have a bit of oil as a treat.
Yeah, it's a treat. It's a treat. It's a sweet treat. Yeah, ever since like Fluff started saying sweet treat, I was like, that's funny.
Oh, I think he got that from me, and I got that from Colin.
That's funny.
Yeah. Every time I like go to lunch, he's like, "Do I want a sweet treat?" Like, what do they got for dessert? I could go for a sweet treat.
Yeah. All right, so we changed fucking.
Yeah, we
hard
haven't even talked
back
about the
into-
original thing
back
that
into cars.
we wanted to talk about that we were talking about after the P break.
Yeah.
So
We
had been talking about manual transmissions and how there's more than one way to drive them, and how some people kind of suck at it.
Yes.
Even though they've been doing it for a long time. You can do something for a long time, but if you've done it the wrong way the entire time, you've just gotten really good at doing it wrong.
Right.
But what prompted that whole conversation actually was you talking about drifting and being able to feel the car drive and steering with the gas and just like how it makes sense. And,
Yeah.
and that kind of reminded me of how I tend to drive manual transmissions. And I think the backstory I gave you was I was driving one of my cars one day, as I do, and I was wearing white socks. I had lower cut shoes and like a pair of jeans or something, but out of like the corner of my eye while I was driving, I could see a flash of white whenever I shifted, and that was like my sock just kind of peeking through as I pushed the clutch pedal down.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized was I saw literally just a flash of white while driving normally, not like trying to be fast or accelerate or race anyone, just wong, gong, gong. And I started like paying attention. I had this moment of like self-awareness where I started paying attention to what I was doing. And I realized that I was just slamming that clutch pedal down and popping right back up.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
The equivalent of like realizing you breathe, you know, when you pay attention to your breathing. Like now you're hyper focused on your or blinking, and like now you're hyper focused on that. And so you had that pivotal now you're paying attention to every little thing you do.
I paid attention to it, and I realized what I was doing was, in order to achieve a smooth shift, I wasn't like, press in gear on the gas, let off, press the clutch, shift gear, and then slowly come up to the catch point and then release it slowly and then get back on the gas to like smooth that whole process out. I was straight dumping that clutch. Yeah. And I was catching it with the throttle.
Right.
So, as you let off the gas and then go into gear, if you just let the clutch out, you're going to eat the dashboard because your engine's now decelerating.
Yep.
And you've just attached your decelerating engine to the rest of the drivetrain. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is right as I was popping the clutch off, I'd be right back on the gas, and muscle memory, it's like right where I was. Yeah. And right where the engine's load point was, if you want to call it that. Right. It's hard to describe.
It's hard to describe, yeah.
But you would catch it right there so that there'd be very minimal disruption. The engine's like basically at like kind of a neutral point. It's neither accelerating or decelerating. Yeah. It's just spinning at the same rate that the car's now going now that it's attached to the transmission again. Yeah. And that's how I've always driven manuals once I learned. I mean, I was talking to you about it when I first learned to drive manual. I did not take to it naturally. My uncle taught me because my dad just had no interest in driving manual. We had no manual cars. Yeah. So my uncle taught me, and that was a rough hour. Yeah. But he made me drive home. Yeah. And I got us home. Yeah. But it was not smooth. Yeah. And it wasn't until I got my own car and was able to force myself into it day in and day out that I actually figured out what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. And even that took a while, right? Because the first car was the Cavalier, and then the CRV.
Yeah, it was my third car.
Yeah, which was the Integra. Yeah,
traded the CRV for the Integra, and then you were with me. Yeah, you were with me, and if you remember, right after we traded, we went to go pull out of the was it Price's Corner?
Yeah,
Price's Corner parking lot. It's a steep hill, and I caught the red light, and then the guy I just traded is in my CRV behind me. Yeah, still absolute baby at driving manual. Yeah. He'll start with the guy.
Yeah, your CRV behind you. Yeah.
Parked right behind me, waiting for the red light, and the light goes green, and I think I buttered it. Yeah, I absolutely nailed it. Yeah, and then we come up to a red light, and it's level ground. It's easy, and I stall.
Yeah. So you work really good under pressure.
Yeah, under pressure, I can't embarrass myself.
Yeah, I remember when I got my first car.
Your Civic.
My Civic. And I brought Furman with me. Shout out Furman.
I was there too.
Yeah, you were there too.
You, me, Furman, and your mom.
And my mom, of course. Yeah, my mom, of course, had to be there for that my first maiden voyage. And she was obviously just nervous about me buying a car, because my mom's got this mama bear strength where she was like, if something goes down, no gun,
throwing down.
no weapons. She's just like, nuh-uh.
Mama,
nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. So
actually,
so it was
her
a whole.
last name's different now.
It is
Mama
it is.
Disc.
Yeah, Mama Disc. Yeah. So now flash forward, I'm home with the car, and I was in a fortunate state where I'd bought my car before I had a license. So when
that Rita's water ice paying off,
right? Yeah, that Rita's water ice money was good, dude. But $1,300, my first car, by the way, a 1993
Civic Coupe,
Honda Civic Coupe, no rust,
God,
320,000 miles.
And smoked like a champ, but ran great.
Yeah, not the same engine. It was because it was an SI engine back then. Before that, dual
the
cam.
EX had that too. It was a D16 Z6.
Which wasn't that what
the EX had it, and the Civic Si hatch also had it in America, but in Japan they got the full fat B16.
Yeah. So
all things aside,
I used to be a Honda
It
kid,
wasn't. It wasn't.
so
I
we
know.
were both Honda
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah.
So.
I did forget that little tidbit, but I knew that they didn't have the dual cam.
Well, your
heater
car
for
was
that
an
year.
EX, so that would have been the correct engine that it came with anyway.
Right.
But it
But it
wasn't the
definitely
original.
wasn't. No. But either way, but I remember just like learning how to drive stick after school. I would get dropped off, and I would literally hop in it.
We would go drive around the neighborhood.
Yeah. Zach had burned me. Caveman had burned the new Carter.
The Carter
5?
4. No, the Carter 4.
Carter 4
And Jay-Z and Kanye West's album. I forget what that one's
Yes.
called, but I still have like that on my phone now,
Yeah.
digitized.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some
and I
good
had those
times.
2 CDs like always playing.
Blunt blowing.
Blunt blowing. Dude, it was so good. I mean, it's like literally a time
what a
capsule.
golden era.
I could just like smell the black ice.
Yeah, you had the felony force.
Dude, yes. And just like driving around my neighborhood and like stalling and figuring out all the gear changes.
Yeah, it's funny. Like,
just
I was a year ahead of you in school, but because I got my mom's CRV and my dad's Cavalier, you got into manual cars
way
before
faster.
me.
Yeah.
So you were teaching me for a while.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, but I mean, you got to it so fast. It wasn't
Once
even,
I got my own car.
Yeah, and you were driving my car.
I was driving your car.
Yeah.
I was driving it like well enough that like in an emergency I could definitely get us where we needed to go.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't until I got my own car,
Mhm.
and first of all, I forced myself to drive in boots.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to be wearing boots. I work blue collar. I'm going to
Yeah.
be wearing boots.
Yeah.
Going to drive this car in boots.
And now we changing the shoes all the time.
yeah, now that I have an
It's
automatic
like-
work van, as soon as I get in my van, it's like, get me the fuck out of these boots.
It's so nice. People who aren't changing out of their boots like to drive home.
They're missing out.
They're missing out, dude.
Especially like, and I know I was just saying that driving manual in traffic wasn't a big deal, but like if I forget to change my boots and I get caught in like Philly traffic,
Yeah.
just going from gas to brake, having those high top boots that are grabbing my ankle
Yeah.
makes them so fucking tired because
Yeah.
it's just that
You're
much
working
stiffer
that
to
ankle.
bend my own fucking foot.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and I have the mock toes now, which is like, I mean, dude, like over a
The mock
decade.
toes?
The mock toes. I got the mock toes now. But dude, over a decade of like wearing boots, like I mean, 15 plus years of wearing boots. Just regular, I mean, everything from like the Wolverines to the Brahmas.
The
to like,
Walmart Brahmas.
Brahmas, that's what it was, Brahmas. Back in the day.
God, I didn't
To-
realize how shitty they were until I got my first pair of Red Wings.
Yeah, and then to wearing Red Wings and just wearing like the American whatever the fuck they are, but like the traditional style boot to like go into a mock toe, it's like, bro, they're sneakers.
Yeah, I'm lucky that like I don't have a wide foot.
Yeah.
So I don't have that issue with like my regular like Red Wings. They don't crush my foot. It's just they're heavy. They're hot because they're insulated.
Yeah.
And again, they restrict your ankle movement, and they're supposed to, so you don't like roll your ankle on
Yeah.
a job site.
Yeah.
But like
You
when
should-
you're just in traffic, and
I'm telling you, like, but you should try a pair of mock toes because like
how
you
many
know-
pairs of boots do we get with our company before it becomes like
I
you
think
have to pay
it's-
for them? Because I've
I
only
think
bought the
it's-
one, and I think I actually paid for the first Red Wings myself. I was supposed to turn in the receipt, and then I crashed my motorcycle and never did.
Yeah, it's like I think the rule of thumb is that like if you're an apprentice, we take care of your boots, but like after that, it's like okay, like you're an
This is my
adult, we're
last
paying you
year.
good now. It's like go buy your own boots.
This is my last year as
This is
a
it.
quote unquote apprentice. I should get
Yeah.
another pair of boots.
Well, dude, the ones I got, the Carhartt mock
Carhartt mock
toes.
toes.
Yeah, so I bought my first pair from Tractor Supply. It was like $165, and then I got another pair off of Amazon of all places, $135. So not bad, but like when you buy a pair of boots, you got to break them in. There's that terrible process of like almost 3
See,
months of
I'm
walking around, and then they're finally
lucky.
yours.
I'm lucky
But
because
hang on. So that break-in period doesn't exist with a mock toe.
well, that's what I was going to say.
They're
with
ready
the,
to go.
With the Red Wings, at least for me, it didn't feel like there needed to be a break-in period, but that could have been because I was coming from Walmart.
That's
boots.
why. No, that's why. It's because you had shit-ass boots that like.
Yeah,
it
if I
doesn't
got
matter
a brand
what
new
the-
pair of Red Wings right now, I'd probably be like, "Whoa, what the
Yeah,
fuck?"
Yeah, you would be. You'd be like, "What the fuck? Why can I not walk in these? Why are my feet on fire right now?" Like, it's rough. So trust me. And if you do get another pair of Red Wings,
They
they
make
have
mock
a mock
yeah.
toe as well. Yeah. So, pizza might be here, but I don't know. But
But yeah,
damn, we changed again.
Yeah, we're so good at this.
yeah.
We should have just called this the Tangent Podcast.
The tangent.
'Cause
Welcome to the tangent. So
we
let's-
can't go down a straight line of conversation. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We were talking about driving manual, and I mentioned boots once.
Dude, we went full boot. I don't know. I love it. I think and if everyone else hates it, then they can find another podcast to listen to. No one's listening. Come on, dude. We're having a good time. We're gonna figure this out one day, dude. We'll get good at this later. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, so it comes down to like driving manual. I dump the clutch and match it. To tie it back to what you were talking about with the whole drifting, some people steer with the wheel, some people steer with the foot. I shift with the gas pedal instead of the clutch.
Right.
And I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Like I've been in the car with you. It feels the same as like when I'm driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. Where like, and again, it's just like I don't even think about it. And like, I was trying to explain it to Holly, and I was like, "Damn, I've never actually had to say this.
It's hard to
I
explain.
like teach it.
Like I've taught a couple people
know
to
what I
drive
mean?
stick, and like I've gotten past the whole like it's something you have to feel kind of thing. And I mean that is reality. You have to be able to feel like, okay, the engine feels like it's going to stall. I need to either give it more gas or get back on the clutch a little bit, all that crap.
Right.
But whenever I teach someone, I'm like, okay, the best way to do this is to have you ride the shit out of the clutch at first and then walk that back instead of like just stalling and having to start from square one every time.
Yeah, because you'll never understand the mechanics of what you're actually getting done.
Yeah. So I tell people, I'm like, okay, see the tack, aim for 3,000 RPM and just slowly let the clutch out. And if you think you're letting out slow enough, you're not. Let it out slower.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see the RPMs try to dip. Give it more gas. Just try to keep it around 3,000 RPM until you're going.
Yeah.
Now, again, that's riding the shit out of the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember from my experience when I was first learning and I hadn't like figured out how slow was slow enough on the clutch or how to balance it with the gas, that was the only way I figured out how to not stall at the beginning. And again, like when you're first teaching someone to drive stick, you're literally, this is the beginning. So 3,000 worked for me. That's where I start people. And like, then once they get that done, I'm like, okay, now we can work on like not burning the shit out of my clutch.
Yeah. I know. And like one of my favorite things to do is like to pull the car out of the garage. It's like kind of one of my favorite things because it is this like starting it up, putting in reverse, and then just giving a little blip and then like letting the clutch out and then just letting it dip and then just like giving it a little gas and then like clutch in off the gas and just like little
Just bumping it.
and then this like little like tiny like little relationship of just like whoop whoop whoop.
I remember the
Like you are
first
riding the
time.
clutch, but it's like it's just this like
Well, it's
and,
a
like,
quick
that
little-
sounds cool. Yeah, it's like this little whoop, whoop, and like you're not even really using much gas input, but you're just kind of throwing it in there and you kind of feel like
I remember
it
one
feels
time
fun.
for
It's-
shits and
you just feel
giggles.
it. You just feel everything
Yeah.
in it. It's
For shits and giggles, like I think it was my CRV. I just put it in first and didn't even touch the gas. Just very slowly
just-
let the clutch
yeah.
out. And then once it like stabilized, where the idle was
get
like,
the
well, yeah. Well, once the idle like, well, no,
It doesn't
It idles at a
matter.
certain RPM, which
We're
means
just
in first gear you're going to be going a certain speed.
yeah.
Once it hit that, like I saw, we're no longer accelerating, going to second. And just see how fast I could get it to go without
And,
ever
like,
touching the gas. I got up to like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, and then you might not even need a clutch. If you're like that synchronized, you know what I mean? Like, you ever like felt that where like I've gone to make a gear change, like just like by coincidence, and like you just like feel it be
It slots right in.
Yeah, it's like too butter. It's a way too
Well,
butter.
yeah,
and like, I didn't need the clutch for that.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. I had to drive from Delaware to PA without a clutch.
yeah. So you figured it out.
Yeah, it's called floating gears.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I'm saying when you do it accidentally.
Yeah.
That good feeling where you're like,
Well,
man, I'm insane.
Yeah, let me raise you one up. It's when you get the perfect heel toe downshift. Like,
yeah, see, you know,
the
I'm
car
gonna
doesn't-
start working on that because like I have the worst heel toe.
Oh, dude, it okay. Fair warning. Once you figure it out, you're not gonna want to stop.
And I think
You
I
will
think
feel
that's
like
a good thing.
You will
That's
feel
a
like a
good
fucking
thing.
race car driver going to get groceries as you heel toe
Yeah.
downshift 2 gears, pulling into the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
And like I've kind of gotten over it now because I drive the work van all the time. But like when my manual car broke and I only had an automatic car as like a backup, I'd go through withdrawal. And do you know what I missed the most?
Heel toe.
Downshifting.
Yeah.
Just heel toe or like just downshifting to accelerate myself.
Yeah.
It's so addicting.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I always like rev match all my like downshifts.
Well, yeah,
until
because
I
it
get to,
saves wear
like-
on the clutch.
But like when I get to second gear, I usually
Well,
just,
I don't go into first. heel towing.
I mean, when it gets down to like changing into second gear, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, I always
Is
do
like
that.
generally speaking, I'm coming in too hot. It's time to hit the brakes, which
Okay,
is why
yeah.
you're heel towing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, and so for me, like I don't know, like I would love you to drive my car, and I think you probably have driven my car, one of my 240s before.
I drove your white one.
but they have
I never drove your S14.
they have gigantic. I'm not saying it's not like it's impossible. It's not. It's
Brother,
like
I
it's
was heel towing
so-
that 69 C10, all right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But I'm saying that the trans tunnel itself is so cumbersome that I feel like I've tried it a bunch of times like before. I don't think I've even tried it yet. I haven't driven it enough to like get that. I'm still getting used to the car. You know what I mean? Like I've had it.
Well,
for
look,
a
if
couple
you're
months,
anything like me, once
but-
you learn how to heel tow, you're going to want to heel tow the world.
Yeah.
Every
I want to be
manual
there.
car
I want to be
get
there.
in, I have to heel tow it.
Yeah, I want to be there. I'm more ashamed that I'm not. So I think I need to be there. But my thing is that like the trans tunnel itself is just like it's so cumbersome that like it's like one of those things where like when you're on the gas, your leg is just rested up on. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of trans tunnels where like
I
it's
have been
cumbersome.
blessed with the skinny legs, so I usually have a lot of room to maneuver.
You know your boy got some trunks on him. My boy got some wheel. I got some wheels on him.
You got a CDL for the dump truck.
Yeah, these wheels got air brakes. Like that's where I'm at. But
yeah,
yeah,
no.
so you know what? There's my resolution.
Their New Year's
2025.
resolution for 2025.
2025.
Master the heel toe.
I will master the heel
No,
toe.
I do make it a point every manual car I get to.
Yeah, and I have to
I
put
heel
clutch
toe.
or the clutch master and sleeve. Another weird term. Damn, I said on the podcast.
We're canceled.
Fuck. All right, that's gonna come. No, we're all done.
Oh man, we
Please.
Yeah, we did tangent again.
We did tangent. So okay, now that we're finally through the car stuff.
No, we're not, because I was still going somewhere.
No, we're done. We
We're
did
done?
it. No, we did it. We did
I want
it.
to talk about the guy who took so long to shift gears. I missed a gear and still managed to get into second faster than him. Well, you know what? There we go. There it is.
Yeah, you covered it. You covered it. That's
Well,
all good.
He was in a Honda, and what doesn't make sense to me, and yes, I'm still going on this. You've driven Hondas.
Yes.
You know how fast the revs drop?
Yes.
It's smoother to shift quickly because
Yes.
otherwise your RPMs are below where they would be once you get into the gear.
Yeah, and then they had
And then
to
you eat the
rev
dashboard.
up. Yeah, to get to
So this guy's driving a Honda Civic, and he's taking so long I was able to miss a shift, grind my gear, hit the clutch, and get back into gear before he had actually engaged the next gear.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's tangent a little more. My short
Told you we weren't
shifter,
done.
in that car, it's multiple times I've gone into third to like try to like, start off. I think I'm in first. Like, it's like
Oh, yeah, this is
I'm
first.
not used to.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not. And I you felt it. Like it's clunky. It's not a nice short shifter. I'm gonna get a nicer one, but like it's a bit clunky and like I don't know if it's a deep like
Just swap it out for CD09.
we'll just go sequential. Let's just go sequential. Let's go with a $10,000 transmission. Let's just go.
Buy once,
Yeah.
cry once.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. Oh, okay. You know what? This might be a full car podcast.
Look, man, it is you and me.
It is. I mean, California's on fire, but I would also like to talk about the fact that
Oh, no, it's not an all-car podcast. We started this off talking about red dye number 40.
we did. Yeah. So there's something in there, but I like it being a car podcast. But okay, so here's my thing. My friend Ditch, everybody knows Ditch H14, Aaron. So he was talking about he had an S14, had some rust. You know, he had tons of stuff done to it. Super invested, but like was like I'm actually done. I'm actually done with the whole chassis itself because like there's just everything's just too expensive for these chassis. Even though I have so much for it, my chassis does need a lot of work, but like rust wise. And he's like, I'm out. Like I want to go to like a ZN6, like the GT86, FRS, BRZ, that chassis. And
It's a newer chassis. There's a lot of improvement on it.
yeah, and like as it were, like it's got the vibe of what a 240 was back in the day, where it's very cheap. Toyota made it.
No, this is going to be in 20, 30 years from now, it's going to be the S14 of our time.
100%. And like the writing's on the wall.
The only issue with it is the engine.
Right. And isn't that the case?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the case with like, it was like, that's how it all started out. Like everyone like threw away the, not that it's to say
the
like,
KA24.
The KA24s, now that like so much time has passed, like people do realize that like, these they actually had a little bit more to give than we thought. They weren't terrible. It's like it was a pickup truck engine. Yeah. And like now,
they're getting love now because all the SR20s blew up.
Right, they had to. like the times shifted where like money and time had to be kind of pushed into that kind of direction. Yeah.
So you should swap your KA24 out for a K24.
I'm actually with that. And so that.
Well, we've talked about that before, and there's like some weird vibration issues, but like that's all solvable.
But I mean, even if it's not like the drift car stuff, like if you're using it purpose built, then like who cares, And then that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like a good car or a fun car. I'm talking
daily
about
driver solid motor mount life.
Yeah, that was fucking ruined my life, dude. That was terrible. Dude, I can't believe I did that. They look cool.
Cool.
Dude, billet, you add some billet mounts to a Honda engine bay, bro.
Yeah, with
you are the shit.
Gold engine, a valve
cover. Oh,
it looked great. It really
looked
did.
So good.
But you had this distinct rattle from your front bumper.
Yes.
That just didn't go away.
But because it was an aftermarket bumper, wasn't made by Honda, so it was a lot thinner plastic, and all of the plastic shields that helped create the rigidity were gone, and I didn't put any mounts to it other than like the 6 bolts that put it onto the front of the car.
The screws that held it to the fender.
Exactly.
And like 1 or 2 in the rad support.
Exactly. Yeah, so like, you're like, why did it shake so much?
No, you didn't put fog.
No,
that was your Civic. You put the fog lights.
Yeah. Integra fog lights, they look cool, but like there's like in the front little.
It's like the Harbor Freight fog lights I put in my first CRV.
Yeah, they don't actually. They don't go that hard. But anyway, so that chassis now, like people are realizing, like for real, like many people have already built Jay-Z. They put every engine you can imagine into these things, and like it goes great. Now they're putting K20, K24s in from Honda into these. But the chassis themselves are just like it's right, because like it's built by Toyota. There's so many little things, like even automatic to manual swapping these cars, where like the spot for where you can put in a clutch master is there's just a rubber grommet in it. It's just there still on an automatic.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's pretty common practice. So like,
I know, but not
always.
No, not always, man.
Everything
not always. I mean, Volvo back in the day was
maybe
methodical.
It's an order car thing.
Yeah, they were methodical back then.
It was just cheaper. They had one stamping.
Yeah, and so Toyota's always been on that game. So like Toyota pretty much built the car, and then like Subaru put the engine in. There's a little bit of a mix in between. Yeah, there's a little mix in between. But I think that's what made it great. I don't think Toyota could have planned this, but what I'm saying is that's what makes this thing great is the fact that like Toyota made a perfect shell of a car, and that it was put together well as a Toyota is, and then Subaru puts this like kind of abomination of an engine in it, and it's like, yeah, nobody really wants it. It's not like really like a supercar.
I mean,
it's not a sports car. It's just kind of sporty. The engines blow up, and like now we have shells everywhere. Like this is like exactly what everybody who's
this
into
is the
like
secondhand
cars,
market's wet dream.
Yes, man. Like then that's what this is all about. And we talk about that all the time about like Mustang, versus like the Corvettes of the world. It's like, well, like Mustangs were not tanging again, but like we've talked about that before about like the heritage that is like behind it all. So like that these cars were like going to be fucked with, but like now these cars are like this whole new just a whole new world that like can be changed. Now I was on Facebook Marketplace. I found a blown up engine like that could be fixed for $1,500. A black FRS. A black.
The whole chassis.
The whole car, full interior.
$1,500.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude,
the last part of this podcast could be marketplace. Like, I mean, it was probably
I don't know that.
yeah.
I don't use
So
Safari on desktop too often.
I know, right? I'm so happy that I got a crazy good price from a really good friend. Shout out Doug for that S14, right? So like that's sick, and I'm so happy that in the first place I even have, and like I'm back in an S chassis, which is like
Did you
so
save
great.
that FRS by chance?
Probably. That feels like something I would do.
Yeah,
I forget how to get to it.
We figured it out before, but
We
man,
did.
are we bad at remembering that. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so what I'm worried about is like I'm like, damn. Like I have this weird feeling where like I'm like, damn it. Like I'm missing the boat. I'm missing I had this like intense feeling where I'm like I should just go buy this shell for later. Like if I had a bunch of money, I'd have a problem. Like dude, if I had like infinite
it's
money.
sold.
Yeah.
No, that's
see?
3,100, not 15. Still, that's dirt cheap.
Oh yeah, maybe it was 3,100. All right,
That's
my bad.
still dirt
so
cheap.
$3,100. But look at this car. I'm gonna look at that, dude.
Looks good enough. It's manual. Yeah. Car has no engine.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
So there's no engine.
Cool.
But,
It's
that's
getting
what
a
you want.
K20.
Yeah, no engine, like no accidents. Here, go back to the photos like one more time. So it's on the. It's a lot of interior.
Lots of interior. We're on the interior. There we go.
Yeah, but like, bro. So it was $3,100, not 15. I think I was thinking of that shell that I found, and as an S14 shell that's fully caged. That has it's stripped,
yeah.
it's stripped of nothing, and that's another good car that's out there, which I probably also saved. But like,
Yeah, I do
if
like.
somebody has $1,500 burning in their pocket and like they think they're gonna need a caged shell soon, fuck yeah. And like for me, I'm like, dude, I have a good shell. You know, it's got some rust. Some of it's been put at bay.
It's not structural.
Some of it needs, yeah, but it's not structural. But like, bro, a blank slate S14 that's caged is worth way more than $1,500. That's to put a cage.
Well, you were telling me
in
the
a
cage
car
is like
is
$3,500.
$3,500. Yeah. So the fact that it's even done, it's like figure the rest out, you know?
Yeah.
And like for me, like I'm like in my sense where I'm getting like dangerous with it. I was like, I have a full car that could like I could just put everything on it. Like God. K-truck.
You saved this.
Yeah, I did. It's got a dumper.
I love that color.
Show the dumper.
The dumpy.
Dumpy. Yep. Dumpy, dude. And it's like teal blue, the dumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going through the pictures. This is a good spot of like, yeah,
Don't
dumpy, dude. That's so sick. Like honestly,
I still want
I've
one of
got
these
so
bad.
much to do with that dump. Like I could have. There's so many house projects that I could do outside, just dumping rocks in places. Like I need it.
You don't have anything to put it in the back, but you're just out there with a shovel, just moving dirt into the back. And
No,
Holly's
but
like,
I
what
do.
are you doing? I'm like,
I do. I have
you're
like
we could totally level this right here.
yeah. I mean, my front and backyard is just full of ruts. Mm-hmm. I could get something done, and I have a shed that's got to go in. It's gonna need a gravel pad. You know, someone's gonna dump gravel. I'm gonna have to put gravel in the back of this.
Just drive
and
to
then
a quarry, be like, hey, can you like?
Can you imagine, dude? Yeah, like give me a scoop. They're like,
Give
we
me a
don't even
scoop."
sell by the scoop. What are you talking about? I'll be back like 6 more times, and then you guys charge me. I promise, I'll be back. Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah, these things are.
K-truck with a dumpy.
K-trucks are great.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Should we talk about?
Oh, this finally sold.
Yeah.
This was up for like so long.
Yeah, what an amazing, just like short wheelbase dump truck. Like it should be a dump truck, but it's just a little guy. But it's just a little guy. This is the greatest thing. It's like a Jeep wheelbase. That's like as wide of a wheelbase.
I'm
as
sure
like a Jeep.
that thing rode great.
Well, oh, there's our boy selling his car.
Michael Mellon.
I can't believe he's selling his car. Well, hopefully he comes on the podcast and
This
talks
was
some more
listed
about
like
it.
10 weeks ago, so
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know.
He should take it off. It's insane that he's selling it. I don't even want to show it on the podcast because no one should buy. I don't know. Maybe he wants to sell it, and I should help him. But like, he shouldn't sell it. Like thrash steering wheel, like full interior. Like this dude, the checkered floor mats. Like this dude gets it. It's like full on like Japanese style.
Yeah.
Good car.
Oh wait, that's not what I want to do. Anyway,
Good car.
what were we talking about?
I don't know. We
got lost in
we're
the
just
sauce?
we're tangent a bit. We're talking about our car stuff, but I thought there it is. There's a $1,500 show.
No, not. Now just the shell's $1,500. What's the whole package for 48?
He's got suspension and stuff that goes with it. I gotta pee.
Okay.
Pee break. All right, back with the pee break. So we're calling this a car podcast, even though California's on fire. And
I mean, you've seen it on the news.
Yeah, you saw it on the news, and I think I am kind of done. No, I'm not done talking about it, but like it's fun to talk about that kind of stuff. But like it's funner talking about this. We talk about this, like just car bullshit for
Or the bullshit we do
like
with
hours,
cars.
literally hours. So I want to switch to my car. So my plan and my vision for the car, and again, I want to preface the fact that I'm going to be getting married within like about a year. So like, not a ton of money is going to go into it, but like, I'm going to figure, a couple shekels, to put into it over that time period. And I do want to still make sure that it sits on all four wheels for the majority of its time. And I want to drive it over the next like year or two, just like the car meets and stuff, like St. Pete's.
Well, yeah,
and stuff.
you finally took it out this past year, 2024, and like you haven't done that in forever.
I know, man, and they brought me back, and so, but the car for sure is a drift car. It's going to be, it's that, and like it's just fortunate that it actually looks pretty halfway decent, like. The closer you get, the worse off it is. But like,
it's still at that point where it's clean enough, where you're like, maybe drifting. It's kind of scary. It's just a nice car.
No, but it's not. That's the problem. It's all hidden. So like the whole right rear is full of Bondo. Like it's all, the underneath the back seat floor, it's got some rust, which like looks difficult to. I felt it. It's structural.
Poor
so like it's
15 will fix
fine.
that.
It won't though,
It
because I don't think it will because it's just it's uneven type of. It has to be like gotten to. You know what I mean? Like it's
So
like
get to it with poor 15.
Okay, well, so maybe, but even still, like that's not what you call like a show car. It's not like, but just because it's going to be a drift car doesn't mean it won't be tagged.
Every time you take
It
that
won't
thing
be-
out to the 3 times you took it out this year to a car meet, people crowded around it.
They did, and but obviously, it's not a show car. It's like it's a fun car. It's a car I want to keep
Every
on the
time
streets
you've
legally.
shown up to a car show, you were the only S14.
I know, and the
fact that it's not rotted out and covered in dents is enough at this point. The bar has dropped very low because of how few of those there are coming into like car meets.
Sure. And so now, and again, like I have some time. And so like with time comes like fiberglass. So like, and that's how you get rid of dents because like that's what
Band-Aids.
yeah. But in like, the reality of it is that like, why fiberglass over fenders and whatnot have been so prevalent is because like, it's like the breakable thing, and you just keep replacing them.
It's
and you just bolt them on, you just rivet them in. So so like that's the the far future, but like for the future, for like the ongoing process that I'm going through right now, is that like I'm in this like beautiful scenario where like the car does have enough power to get it done for sure. I mean, it's like a rebuilt, I would say built high compression. Everything like tuned, dynoed. It's a good KA for a stock ish platform. So I'm relying on like the 150 horsepower and 150 foot-pounds of torque that it has to do everything else, but like getting all of the suspension and everything else all tuned in, and like getting all of like the little tiny things like. just like ridiculous stuff that like, you know, if you were building a drift car, you wouldn't worry about. You'd be like, look, let's just put a little power to it. Maybe, you know, it needs X, Y, or Z, but like I want to focus on like doing a nice handbrake. You know, I want to focus on doing possibly like a cheaper but like nice like knuckle setup, you know? And so like what I'm looking at now is Villains Drift. Like shout out Villains Drift. I think they're out of Washington, but they do like legit work for cut knuckles. Like so cut knuckles, cut and extended lower control arms to support, and obviously tie rods and all that other stuff has to come with it as well. But like that's like that. I think I like, you know, if I'm lucky, I might get a shakedown before it. But like I think with all the time that I'm gonna have with not being on the track, because I know because like the big part of that is like the truck, the trailer, you know. And I have a humble feeling. There's a lot of people that go like, hey, like just get out there, just go do it.
One of your friends was like, just drive the car.
Yeah, just drive it there. Just do it. If you love it, just do it. No, just go. But it's like, nah, hang on, man. Like,
well, you've already been in a situation where something broke.
I wrecked the car, and like thankfully
you were
it was
lucky
a
to be able to
2-day
get back
event,
home.
and I got to sleep there. You know, I got to sleep there and then figure it out. You know, later. Well, I mean, I did fix it the same day, but regardless, you know, it's a sketchy thing. You know. And I think it's also more akin to like, you know, if you're a teenager, like, yeah, just go drive it. You know, if you wreck the car, figure it out later. You know what I mean?
You've
like
got
just
time.
Yeah, you're a child, you're a baby. But like now I'm a little bit older and I'm like I've got a mortgage, you know? So it's like if I can't figure out how to pay for a truck and a trailer to make sure I get down there and get back, then I don't think this is for me. That's kind of my opinion. And I don't have very high standards for the truck or the trailer, you know? So I'm not saying that there's like some sort of like gigantic like $40,000 truck that I
you
need
just
to
need
buy.
El Camino and a car dolly.
Sure. Yeah. So something along those lines. But yeah, but it's that petty cash that you're looking for to be able to like kind of do that kind of stuff, which is like the same barrier to entry to like really do drifting, you know, because you can just drive, you can do like 2 or 3 events and like keep it chill and like hit the parking lots events, or, you know, hit a track that's like, you know, if you go off, you know, you're not going to like total the car and you're probably going to be okay. Now, there's that aspect of like, hey, you got out there and you did it. But like to me, I'm like, it feels like, you know, you could be wasting your time and money. It feels like it's one of those like these opportunities where like when you get to the track, you want to be able to just like know that you can do and you can keep doing this, you know? So like if you can't afford a truck, trailer, and like you know, 4
Well, this is all the support
also,
stuff that makes this sustainable.
But also 4 brand new tires when you go to an event, then it's like this is just like this. It feels like it's and I don't know. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. And again, like I think that if you are young and you're getting into it now, then you should just drive the car. You should use old tires, whatever you can get. Just go out there, get the experience. You know, learn, meet people, talk to people. You know, enjoy the experience. But like where I'm at, I'm like, I kind of want to make this feel not like, but like legit. But like, you know, it's like I want it to feel like this is like an actual thing that I can do and that I can start investing time and money into. And aside from like just something that's like, oh yeah, I think I have a cool car and I drive it out to these events and you know, I have a good time. You know, I go home, but I'm like, I kind of want to go hard. Like, I kind of want this to like be like a process that I can do more than once. You know.
Yeah.
So I feel like focusing on like getting truck trailer within the next 2 years, and then also like building the car in such a way that like the suspension, everything else is like very, very up to date and like. Whatever I can do to just like kind of make the car better in between those 2 years is kind of where I'm at. So like handling a little bit of rust,
getting your suspension dial,
and even just like it's got some arms and stuff on it already, but just taking them apart and like
any seizing or just like, you know, getting them out and just getting them cleaned up and just put back in. And, you know, like maybe even like, you know, I have to do that differential swap, go from LSD to, it's going to be kind of surgery to go to an open diff and then have a welded diff and like all the shim surgery of that. But while the, like, you know, the diff's out, it's like, let's just pull the subframe. Let's just pull all the suspension parts out, clean them up.
Let's just do a big bore
See
kit.
the condition of them. Yeah. And then also.
Were you just lecturing me about that at the beginning of this podcast?
Yes. But you guys have a deadline of like getting it on a track. I don't. You guys already have a truck and a trailer and you have a way of getting it
We don't
there.
have a truck and trailer.
You have a car and trailer.
The aspirational.
You have a car and a trailer.
The aspirational goal was to tow it down there with Drew's 64 Impala because that'd be hilarious.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, I think that I'm gonna get a little smidgy boo. I think that, like, for me, a big part of it is going to be it's that truck and trailer part. I'm just making sure that
making sure the
like,
logistics make sense.
Yeah, and like I feel like I'm avoiding the word program because like program is like what the word that everyone uses like when they're trying to figure out how to get to FD. You know, they're like, yeah, put together a program. You know, put together a budget and like how you're gonna do it, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna need. And I'm kind of in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in that mode as if it's like FD, but it's not even close. But like, I'm in that mode of like kind of figuring out like what it's going to take and like what I need to do to be consistent, reliable, you know, like avoid surprises and just make sure that like everything else on the car is good to go. You know, worrying about power later and just kind of making sure like it stays fun, you know, and like, cause like what's not fun is that like, oh yeah, you had a great time because you drove it there and you drove it back. But then what's not fun is like, it doesn't, you know, and like I've like, even not even like wrecking the car and then fixing it on the same weekend and then being able to drive it home. It's like, haha, like, great, good job. But like, what if you crack a manifold, you know, which is what I have done at an event. And I wasn't even that far. It was like, it was in Smyrna and I had to drive from Smyrna to Bear and with a cracked manifold, like getting carbon monoxide poisoning, like literally like feeling like I was going to die like over like less than an hour. You know, it was like questionable. So like for me, I'm like,
it seems funny that that's your like, that's your low point, not the I crashed my car.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that was nuts and bolts. You know what I mean?
Just
like,
nuts and bolts.
Yeah, but like a cracked manifold is like a very difficult thing to
just put your windows down.
I did, and we had the sunroof. We had the sunroof open, and Nick Peaceclock had his hat out the window,
trying to scoop in fresh
air because we were fucking dying, dude. Like our eyes are like watering up. I can barely see.
You had
like,
the little super tuner.
breathing's.
Crank the fuel up or turn it down or something.
Well, I mean, I know. I guess I probably could have.
Actually,
but I also,
cracked manifold, you'd be down on boost, so you need less fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn your fuel down.
Yeah. Right. But
See,
still,
we know that now.
We know that now. But either way, like it's still like turning it down still doesn't like quite fix every issue. It's like it's still there. So I don't know. But basically all I'm saying is that like I think I'm out of that like
You're out of the roughing it stage. You're ready
I
to
don't
like
know, yeah. Like, I want to like
you're ready to
it
have security.
Security. I'm ready to have security, and I want to like make this like not like a chore, and I want to make sure it stays fun. You know, because like it always is gonna be hard. It always is gonna be a point where like even once I've planned everything out, it's gonna be difficult. Mm-hmm. So just making sure that the basics are all there, at least eliminates those. You know, in a way.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, no, I get what you want to do.
Yeah. So
and
then
makes
just
sense
but
for
then
your
also like
scenario
just
as
being
well.
able to like take the next 2 years to just touch every nut and bolt, you know, and like I might like reinforce the subframe and like put subframe bushings in and like do stuff like that.
See,
It's like little nice little things.
This is exactly why I'm getting into older cars. Because
Yeah.
there's just so much less of that that I
Yeah.
have to deal with, and I am impatient.
Yeah. I think that I also like I think I'm also at a point in my life where I'm enjoying the process.
I'm enjoying the process with this. It's just my path is overall like shorter, even though we need to have the entire like frame and body reinforced.
Yeah, it's your timeline that's getting fucked up. The
But like,
timeline's fucked up.
especially like with older cars, like I have gone in like just the last couple of months, I have gone down the rabbit hole of old school tuning. because I don't know. It seems so much more accessible. Like if you want to mess with your fueling, that's a carburetor and jets. Like it's like you said, nuts and bolts. I take the carburetor, I open it up, I break something, I have to buy a new carburetor, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
That was because of age. That had nothing to do with like the design itself, and also a little bit of negligence on my part. I let my fuel filter fail, and shit got into the carburetor. That ended up corroding shit.
Yeah.
Whole different scenario.
Yeah.
But you know, like I can rejet it, I can do this, I can do that, and I don't need to take it to a dyno to get tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted to do heads, like a high flow head, and I wanted to do manifolds and I wanted to throw a cam in my car, I could, and I could do it with hand tools.
Well, see, and that's the other thing too, is that like with my car, I think, you know, before I take it out, or especially before I turbo the car, which is like the end all goal, is to turbo.
Well, it's built for a turbo.
Right. I mean, it's ready for it at the very least. But before I do that, like I might, you know, I'm definitely going to, before I do it, I kind of feel like it's a good time, because it always sucks to do like change too much stuff at once, but switching it from OBD1 to OBD2, and then also maybe doing a new harness that can support doing coil packs instead, and like doing a new ECU, like maybe a link, you know, and being able to like, because that just helps so much more with tuning instead of like having to like fuck with distributors, and just being able to, you know, use coil packs to help. You know, and maybe like even, I mean, switching to an electric power steering rack would be fun. You know, that eliminates a lot of also other issues with like pumps dying, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that fucks up a lot of the steering, and people are having pretty good luck with these Volvo electric power steering motors. And the rack, I think people are going to like, and like, I think the rack, I forget the rack they're going to. I think people are going to the E36 racks and like moving them in the front. I think that stuff's like crazy, because like the idea is like because the rack sits on the inside of the wheel, so it's like it's a push.
Yeah, it's a push instead of a pull, vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that affects like geometry and a whole bunch of other things. But
and just the load. It's a load to like turn the wheels, as opposed to like bringing the wheels like kind of like with the load, I think is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy forces and factors in play.
Yeah, it's fun. You can really nerd out, and like Chelsea D'Onofrio is like one of my favorite people who like does these like just sits in front of a camera in his shop and just like breaks out for like 30 minutes on like angle, geometry, and like just giving out like FD secrets, because he's out of FD, and like fuck these guys. This is what you know. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and I mean there is something to be said for like, you know, being able to dig into those kind of complexities and pull performance out of it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, especially with like my budget and my limited time, like this Model A, you know, I can double the power, the original output. Like, granted, I'm not making record-breaking power, but I can like literally double the engine's output with some very basic bolt-ons and rudimentary knowledge on how to make a carburetor play nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, something about that just tickles me. Like, especially because a lot of my friends have been buying 60s cars lately. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I don't want to put out like any kind of false like impression that we're all made of money. Like, these are all heaps.
Yeah. I know, from the outside looking in, even, you know, you're like, you know, Tim buying a 66 Mustang, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I think that was $3,500.
Which, like, still, I mean, but I'm like, yeah, that's not that much money. But it's still, it's like, y'all are just buying cars like all the time. Like I just bought a winter beater, and like, but I remember that being the way I was when I was like,
like there was 20, a brief period where I bought a car every year.
Yeah,
but they were shit boxes.
Yeah, I mean, like I bought that Camry, and I was like off the cuff.
And the Saturn
I had transcodes, and I was like, I'll just shift it. Like I got this thing. I miss that car. That Camry was cool.
Yeah, and then a Saturn.
Bro, the Saturn I miss the most. SL1, like a 99 Saturn SL.
It was like a mid-90s shit box.
Yeah, maybe it was a 95. It might have been a 95. 94, 95.
Yeah.
SL1.
$800.
Yeah, $800.
I remember because we compared them, because my Volvo was $800. I'm like, I got more car than you did for $800. Yours might be a little more modern, but I got physically more car.
I had AC.
You had AC.
AC, 5-speed.
But my car was bigger.
Yeah. It was a lot more bang for the buck. I got a lot more plastic.
You got a lot more plastic.
You don't have nearly as much plastic as me.
Yeah, I was lacking
I was
on the
king
plastic,
of plastic.
but I got rear louvers.
My doors were plastic. My fenders were plastic. The quarters are
Yeah, the
plastic.
only thing not plastic on that was the trunk lid, the roof, and the hood.
In the hood. Yeah. Questionable on the rad support.
Yeah.
I think the rad support was mostly plastic. Like, I'm
might
pretty
have
sure.
been.
Like the frame obviously is metal, but like
It was wrapped in plastic.
yeah.
But yeah, so like, we've been getting a lot of 60s cars, and because we buy the cheap kind of shitty ones, they all need kind of, a bit of work. And like,
Yeah.
I am so bad. Like, I had my hands, I was up to my elbows in Sean's Corvair when he bought that.
Yeah.
Also, because it was kind of partially my fault he bought it.
Yeah, you conned him into it. You kind of conned him in. But he
it's-
made the right decision.
It's solid now, and he
You
loves
were
it.
right. You were right.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, it was 50-50.
No,
But
I told him, like, when I got him, like, look, it's probably going to need some work. But once you get it dialed, you're
it's
going to love it.
Yeah, 100%. And now he does.
And again, like, it had all these weird, like, running issues, and we rebuilt the carburetors because it's just something you do. Like,
Yeah.
you have an old carbureted car and it's running funky, just rebuild it.
Yeah.
The kits aren't that expensive. And
Right.
honestly, carburetors sound daunting, but you don't even need to know how they work to rebuild a carburetor. Just put it back the way it came apart with new gaskets and seals.
Yeah.
There you go.
That has that nut and bolt feel where like, hey, can you replace shocks in your car? I'm like, yeah, put a carb on it. It's just tinier.
Yeah. So, we rebuilt
Delicate,
the carburetors
but,
on it.
yeah.
We did a tune-up. Yeah, we replaced the spark plugs, wires, made sure the plugs were gapped correctly, replaced the cap and rotor on the distributor. Ran into an issue because one of the spark plugs was trying to go in sideways, but I managed to get it to not do that.
Nice.
That was scary,
Yeah.
but we got it.
Yeah.
So, we did that. And then, like, it's still kind of being a little funky. I'm messing with the ignition timing because, you can get a little more advanced, get a little more power out of it, but you go too far. And again, it's
Gonna
not
start heating up.
It's gonna start knocking and pinging,
Yeah.
which will melt your fucking pistons.
Yeah. It's gonna start heating up, dog.
But that's the thing; it'll let you do that.
Yeah.
And like, no computer, just grab the thing, twist it.
Yeah.
There you go, more power, or oops, that's a piston.
Yeah. Bop it.
But like, it's so easy, it's accessible, it didn't cost any money, and I don't need to take it to a dyno to like make sure it's good. Like, I don't know, it's kind of almost a restriction
But
breeds
you
creativity.
You could.
Yeah, I totally could. In fact, I
know.
would love to get a wideband for the Buick. I would
Yeah.
install it temporarily just to dial it in because I don't want that display attached to my dash permanently.
Right.
But just to make sure I got it. Like,
Yeah.
right. So, it's always the option. But like the simple fact that you can do these nut and bolt procedures that completely change how the vehicle runs without needing a computer.
Yeah.
It speaks to like my old soul.
Fuck yeah.
And, when things go wrong, they're obvious.
Yeah.
Like, we rebuilt the carburetors. I was kind of distracted while I was doing it.
Yeah.
Up like between like teaching Sean how the carburetor worked.
Yeah. Kind of get caught
And
up in the
what I
process.
was doing, and I forgot to put the needle
Oh.
in one of the carburetors.
Yeah.
So the float pushes the needle up to stop fuel flow when the bowls are full.
Yeah. So just
I
filled the
completely forgot
cylinders
to
with
put-
gas.
Well, no, it just filled the carburetor and started
Oh.
dumping fuel out of the vent. But
Oh.
we're like, what the fuck is
On the
going
outside.
on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of it was getting into the engine, but it was a very obvious problem right away. There's no fuel
Change
injector
the
that's
oil.
there's no fuel injector that's buried in the manifold, or
Yeah.
God forbid you have direct injection where you can't see that injector sticking. It's like, yeah, that's a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
So we open it up and immediately it's like, oh fuck, the needle's missing.
Yeah.
Go through the parts, the extra parts and all that. I'm like, oh shit, there it is.
Yeah. I love
Put it
the
right in.
extra parts. Like, yeah.
Well,
no, I'm kidding. I know.
The kit comes.
It's a
the
kit.
kit's from
It's-
multiple carburetors
yes.
in that same family, and it also came with new needles, but they were too short. So I just reused the old ones because they were in good shape anyway,
Right.
and I just forgot to put it back in.
Yeah.
But that was an obvious problem. The other issue, it was still like breaking up. Like it felt like an electrical misfire because it was too intermittent to be like a fueling issue. You'd take off and
Ah.
So we're tearing apart the distributor, and I take a look at the points because it's got break point ignition instead of like a modern coil pack, and they're just crusty and almost gone. They're just worn away. It's like, there you go. He orders some new ones. We got the wrong ones. He ordered some more new ones that were right.
Love
they were
that.
the right ones. We popped them in there. Car runs perfect.
Yeah. Bingo.
Like, I love that level of
Simplicity.
it's mechanical, so you can see the problem.
right. Yeah.
And it also applies to like going fast. It's all mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could recurve the Buick's distributor with springs and weights and change its
Yeah.
whole advanced profile.
Yeah. You're right.
I love that.
We fucked it all up.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to not have to mess with the car and you're just looking for basic reliability on a budget,
Lease it.
that's your definition of budget is different from mine. But I was going to say buy a 96 to like 2005 car
Yeah.
because they don't have
Yeah.
computers running
Yeah.
everything.
Buy a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
From 96.
Buy a late 90s Honda or Toyota.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You will have to change the oil.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right, man. You want to go eat some pizza?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end.
Let's go eat some pizza. This was good.
I
This was
waxed
fun.
poetic about old cars and then plugged, like, if you don't want to think about your car, here you go.
Yeah. That was great.
This is informative.
It was good.
We've done good
It was
here.
beautiful.
Till next time, folks.
Until next time. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. Do something. Do something with it. Bye.
Baby,